It's a new year, y'all. And for me, I've never been one to do resolutions. I do solutions. And for the past almost 2 years, I've been drinking AG1 every single day, thanks to my brother, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who turned me on to this incredible product. Every day, every morning, no exceptions, just one scoop and a glass of water. They also make packs you can travel with. That's been very, very helpful for me as a active touring person. Having these packets with me all around the world has been really, really helpful. So if you're a musician or somebody that is always on the go, the travel packs are incredible. AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, and pre and probiotics. It's very powerful, it's very healthy, and it's really simple, man. Healthy aging shouldn't feel complicated. The thought of taking multiple supplements and all these types of vitamins and stuff and powders, it's truly exhausting for me. I've never been one to take a lot of multivitamins anyway throughout my whole life. I always prided myself in just eating vegetables and eating all the stuff I need naturally, not in a pill form. So this is incredible. It covers my nutrient gaps. It supports my mental and physical health. AG1 is hassle-free, 60 seconds every morning. It's the high-quality ingredients of pre and probiotics, adaptogens and antioxidants, and whole food sourced nutrients. I drink it every single day. Every batch of AG1s goes through rigorous testing processes, and their ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrient density. If there's one product I can suggest you guys, is the AG1s, man. This has been a life changer for me. So go to ag1.com/OLLC and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. With AG1, I know I'm getting essential brain, gut, and immune health support, vitamins, probiotics, and nutrients for the day, and it's helped my mental and physical. So if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys, it's AG1's. It's my nutritional insurance. I pride myself as almost being 54 years old, not going to the doctor all the time. Knock on wood. I've been healthy my whole life and try to strive to be a healthy person, stay young, stay full of energy, and still do the things I love that I did as a kid. That's why I still skateboard, play music, exercise. So start the year off right. AG1, ag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cessario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. If you want to just get Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for the merchandise and other cool items, exclusive items, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have my friend back in my kitchen. I just realized it's been since 2021, which is 3 years, which is really crazy. A lot has happened. Mike Cessario, thank you for being here. My friend and the creator, CEO, everything of Liquid Death. Is that your title? What's your official title there? Boss man?
Yeah, boss man, chief thirst murderer. Yeah, you can kind of. But no, yeah, CEO, founder. That's typically what.
Yeah, and if people want to hear the whole story from that, it was episode 115. I'm in like 260 now of my podcast, which is really crazy. But
it's crazy.
But so much has happened like in 3 years. Obviously, you're a dad now, so congratulations.
Thank you.
It's amazing seeing you with your family. And the company is just. We were talking before, like the Instagram's like 2.8 million. Just it's beyond just the product and the water. It's a phenomenon. It's a brand. It's a streetwear brand. There's been a million collabs. There's new flavors of sparkling. And actually just yesterday they announced Squeeze to Death, Cherry Obituary, and Grapefruit, new flavors of sparkling. But also since this podcast has been Severed Lime, Mango Chainsaw, Buried Alive, and Convicted Melon. And then there was a controversial Armless Palmer that became Dead Billionaire, Grim Leafer, Rest in Peace, and Slaughterberry. There's so much, man. It's just so beyond like probably any dream you had about even having it. You know?
It's wild that what started as just an idea for spring water in a can.
Yeah.
And then just eventually evolving into, well, what happens if we launch a sparkling? And then, oh, wow, that went well. Then it's like, oh, what happens if we launch flavored sparkling? And then that goes well. And it's like, maybe we should launch iced tea. And then that goes really well. So I think that's become probably the most unique thing about our brand that really no other brand that I can think of in history has done, which is being a single brand with the same brand name that's winning in completely different categories of beverage.
Wow.
I mean, there are brands that are, like Prime, for example, like they launched with, massive influencers who day one, they had an audience of 150 million people.
Yeah.
That's growing faster for sure, but it's still in a single category. So I think that is the cool special thing that I think we've built is people love Liquid Death as a brand. And for us, it's all about, as long as the product we're making is healthy or better for you,
Yep.
it's premium and it's funny, I think we can make it and it can be successful. And people just are, getting more loyal to the Liquid Death brand where they respect what we do and they know like, hey, if Liquid Death puts something out, it's going to be good. Like when we launched our flavors, like we put a lot of time in how we made those and what, how well they tasted compared to a LaCroix or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think you just start getting the respect from people and they just sort of are excited now when you launch something new. They know it's going to be good. They know it's going to be healthy and we're probably going to, launch it in a really funny sort of way.
Has there been a lot of stuff that you thought about doing and almost maybe scratched it out? You weren't sure about it last minute, or everything you thought about doing, just put it down and it's been working?
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of ideas that everybody has about, oh, could we do this or could we do that? And,
and crazy ideas too, probably some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. And like we were talking about just a minute ago, it's like, the main reason most startup companies fail is because they try to do too much too quickly.
Yes.
It's almost always the move at some point is like, hey, you have to focus. Like, hey, what's the important stuff? Like, what's going to work the best? And it gets hard, especially when you have a brand like ours where you kind of can do anything. You've got to be really smart about, saying no. It's like in the beginning, it's all about yes, yes, yes. Then at a certain point, there's an art of saying no. You have to be okay saying, no, we're not going to do that. Or, hey, this retailer, they want to carry you, but they want to charge you this stupid amount of money just to put you on the shelf. And in the early days, you need that. And you kind of have to say yes. Now we can say, nope, we're not going to do that. We don't need you.
Yeah.
So I think we're in that
good position to do that.
Yeah. The phase now is like, hey, we have to be better at saying no to things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like just seeing people with like Liquid Death head tattoos, like full dome tats, necks, hands. It's crazy, man. Just that alone. I don't know if, I'm sure people have other companies tattoo them that are like liquid products. We don't have to say their names, but because it may be sponsored by that, whatever. But people are getting this out of straight being fans. It's almost unheard of. I've never seen something like that, like a water brand tattoo.
Yeah, it's wild. Someone was telling me the other day, it's like if we think about, the era that you and I grew up in, 90s, it's like, could you imagine that at that time, the coolest brand being a water brand?
No, man. People didn't really want to drink water back then.
No, yeah. I mean, it was the coolest brands were fucking Mountain Dew and Red Bull, Monster.
I'm a little bit older, so I had Jolt Cola back in the day.
Oh yeah, Jolt Cola. Yeah, even still, that's basically like the early energy drink. It was like, oh my god, have you ever had a Jolt?
All the skaters are drinking it and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But even like just water, like in a box they had in the Warped Tour, just different versions of water, and people making water something cool to drink, and you want to drink water. And that's what I love about Liquid Death. It's just the marketing and the cans itself. And I've been with somebody where my friend Chappelle, we're driving down Hollywood Boulevard and the police officer pulls up on a motorcycle and he looks inside the window. He's right next to us. And there's two Liquid Deaths, me and Chappelle's in the middle. And he pulls us over. My son's in the back. And he goes, what's in the drinks? And we held them up. We said, this is water. And then he gave Chappelle a ticket. He wasn't even on his phone. It was because I think he felt stupid for pulling us over for the water. That was a crazy fucking moment, dude.
And we've had so many people tell us a very similar story on social. Like, hey, I got pulled over and, the cop, I showed him it was water. Then he went back in his car and looked it up and then on his little laptop or something, came back. And we actually had we had this promo that we did on social. We said, hey, if you get pulled over for drinking Liquid Death and can post a photo of the cop or whatever, like we'll send you a free case.
Wow.
Because
it's like a real thing, dude.
Yeah, and people I think were actually going out trying to get pulled over drinking
Just
liquid
to do
death.
it.
Yeah.
And it's also crazy. Shoot, so much has happened. I think the Super Bowl commercial happened since you've been on.
Yeah.
Which is all the kids moshing in the bedroom, drinking liquid death, and the mom comes in and she's pregnant, drinking one. That was incredible. And then since then, I mean, obviously for you, it's because I know you and I know your story and where you come from and your love for skateboarding. Just like now it's like you're skating with Tony Hawk, you know, he's an ambassador, Steve-O, all these different pros, Chris Cole, just all these people that you grew up idolizing are now your friends and now a part of the company that you created. It's amazing, dude. It's like you're living like, it's a dream, dude.
Yeah, it really is the actual dream. And
it's gotta be surreal too.
It's totally surreal. And it's funny that, I mean, I was trying to figure out what I was supposed to do for so long. You know, It was like everything from high school being in punk bands thinking, oh, for sure, I'm going to be in a touring band like you. Like that was my first dream.
Yeah.
And I was gung ho on it. And then, you know, that didn't really work out. So then it's like, well, I'm pretty good at creative stuff because I do all that for the band. So I'm going to go to college for design, you know, and that can be my job. And then that led to advertising, and I'm in all these big ad agencies for a decade. And it's like, I never really fit in there either. It's like, you know, a lot of it can be like a big frat house or something. You know? And then I was trying to start little tiny one-off little entrepreneurial projects that weren't working. And it was funny that it's finally like the thing that worked was Liquid Death. When I finally said, I'm just going to make what makes me happy and is me, you know, like when I've just focused on, this is what makes me laugh. This is what I think is funny. This is what I give a shit about.
Yeah.
I care about health. I think it's bullshit that all the funniest, coolest marketing is all done for alcohol, junk food, candy, soda.
So true.
So, you know, and I thought it was all bullshit. And especially being on the marketing side, you see like what bullshit marketing really is. And that's kind of what Liquid Death is. Like everyone that loves our brand kind of sees that we're being sarcastic. You know, no one thinks that Liquid Death, we actually think water is badass. It's like, we're kind of making fun of the extreme bullshit marketing of energy drinks and these things.
Totally.
My younger brother, AJ, he's 2 years younger, very different than me. He's like a, you know, software sales guy, had kids way earlier than me, got married way earlier than me, a lot more straight laced, but he wears Liquid Death t-shirts. And he's like, you know, I don't wear a Liquid Death t-shirt with a skull on it because I'm trying to communicate to people, oh, I like metal and this. He's like, I'm doing it to communicate I hate marketing. So, and I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. It's like, regardless if you like skulls or metal, everybody, I don't care who you are, hates marketing. Like the data is like 90% of people hate commercials, don't believe anything that they say in them. So it's like, as long as it's clear that we're using skulls and this sort of metal aesthetic in this sarcastic way to make fun of marketing, you don't have to like skulls or metal to appreciate what we're doing and say, oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, I like that these guys are making fun of the shit that I hate.
Totally.
Which is that giant corporate, soulless, salesy marketing, you know?
Yeah. And it's crazy because like, you're like so not a corporate person. It's like this thing just went crazy and grew so big, but you're the same person I met when I first met you. And also your roots and being skateboarding and a punk rock kid and where you come from. And so how has that kind of changed? Like you're learning as this kind of goes, as this thing's growing, you're actually learning too, right? Every day. It's like you're dealing with so many more people and employees and meeting like probably like big Willie type dudes from corporations. You're not dressed up wearing a suit and tie. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like who is this kid? Is this for real? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's probably a threat to people too, as well.
Yeah. I mean, that one of the things, I forget where I heard it, but they're basically like, you know, it's like a lot of entrepreneurs, at least some of the good ones. They set out to build the company that they wish they could work for.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you work for all these shitty companies and it's just like, you know, you're maybe forced to because, hey, that's the only company that will pay you to do X, Y, or Z. And I think Liquid Death was the ability, hey, how do I make the company that I wish I could work for that existed? And I think we've And I think the other big thing is we built the company on this idea of kindness. You know, a lot of beverage companies are extremely cutthroat, dog eat dog kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my old bosses, this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was actually like a very, very small early investor. He has a whole thing that he's constantly pushing, that it is possible to be really kind and caring and also be very successful in business as a part of it. Because if you are that way, it's like people really want to work for you.
Of course.
They want to bust their ass for you. Like you become a great place to work, and
they're gonna hate their jobs.
Yeah. And I think that's how we've been able to, you know, to build Liquid Death is, you know, we have this whole, hey, it's, you know, kindness is king. Like mean people, like you can go work somewhere else. Like there's plenty of other places you can work.
Yeah.
But it's also about being really smart. You know, it's like we have some of the smartest, most talented people in every aspect of the company.
Yeah.
And they all have like this, you know, like no one's a prick, you know, like everybody is cool and smart.
Yeah.
And I think that is sort of what makes our unique kind of company culture and why we've been able to grow as fast as we have, because that's the hard part. I mean, growing a product sales is one thing, or like if you're a YouTuber and you go from, you know, 50 followers to 50 million followers.
Yeah.
You're kind of only having to scale yourself. But when all of a sudden you have to start with 6 people in a company and go to 30, 50, 100, 200, people are hard to manage. You know, like people argue, like there's different personalities.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that, you know, you've got the right kind of people and the right kind of motivations where everyone sort of gets along and understands like, hey, we all have the same idea for where this thing is going.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest things to do, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot of people now too, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, the office is so sick. There's like a mini ramp in the middle of the office, which is so cool. And this is the way everything's laid out and like all the different rooms and stuff. It's like, it's not a normal office. It's not a corporate place. It doesn't feel like that. You know, it feels like just a recreation center, place to hang. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
Yeah, it was almost like when we were making the office, since it's the first office that we had, it's like what I had in my mind was the Foot Clan headquarters from the Ninja Turtle movies. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, also we talk about like good people and bad people and mean people. Another thing that Liquid Death does is great is they take like mean tweets or mean comments, and they've been making these records. And I was lucky to sing on one. Me and Tony Canal, we got Mark McGrath on there. Chappelle sang on the Jen. We all sang on it. It's like the greatest hits volumes. And it's like 1, 2, and 3. There's all different versions, but basically taking negative things about the company and turning them into songs. It's so incredibly genius, man. It's so cool.
Those are my favorite Liquid Death things that we've made. Like it was, you know,
so smart.
Yeah. I mean, and what was funny is like, I think now that we've made 3 of these, greatest hates albums,
yeah,
you know, the first one was a metal one. The second one was a punk one. The third one was like this, you know, 80s female powered Madonna
really
pop.
Fun.
Yeah. The one you were on. But I think what's cool about these is like the lyrical part, and you might have some more insight on this. It's like when you're an actual musician writing an album, you know, the lyrics are really hard, right? It's like you're trying to nail, like, how am I saying something? What's important? And the
message, the melody, everything,
right?
Yeah.
And there's almost a lot of, let's say, overthought that can go into it. But with these greatest hates albums, the lyrics were already written because we took the hate comments from the internet that were already written, and then we kind of just pieced them together into songs. So then when the lyrics were already done and stupid, and you give that to great songwriters that were working on these albums, they were just able to purely have fun and not overthink. I remember when we did the second punk album, Brendan Kelly from the Lawrence Arms, who works for Liquid Death and helped us, you know, kind of write the album with Jen, you know, after they were in the court, they wrote this thing in like a week, then it went in the recording studio for like 2 or 3 days to record it. And afterwards, Brendan was like, it's almost depressing that one of the best albums I've made in a long time is for this water company.
Wow.
Hate comments because I think it's like
they're catchy songs, man.
Yeah, and when you're just having, I think, and that's most things I think in life or business. When you're truly just having fun and not overthinking, you tend to do the best stuff.
I agree. When it doesn't feel like work, and it's just something you love to do.
Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, for you, does this? I mean, obviously, it feels like work for you now because it's such a big company, but it's still fun for you. Obviously, you're creating, you're always trying to push different things, and work with different people, different collabs. You probably have like a whole everything mapped out in your mind, what you want to do like next year, like you have goals and just like focusing on them. Your brain must go crazy all day because you're such a creative.
It does. And it still doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
You know, it really, it's like, you think about everybody, you've probably heard the question before, what would you do if you won the lottery? You know, and it's like, if I thought about, hey, if for some reason Liquid Death sold tomorrow for, billions of dollars, like what would I do?
Yeah.
And it's like, if I didn't have to work, well, I would probably be doing almost exactly what I'm doing now. I'd want to hang out with cool people and skate. I'd want to make put cool stuff into the world, whether that's music or really funny videos, like find ways to support interesting people that most big companies would never give a shit about or support. So it's kind of like,
I can't see you just sitting around. It's like, not doing nothing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like all the stuff I'm doing now is stuff I would do even if I didn't have to do it,
Yeah.
Or I think a lot of people you get stuck in a job or whatever because it's like you need the money and there's no other option, so you just have to do this thing.
Yeah.
I think there was this guy, I think he was giving like a Harvard speech at Harvard or something, and he was talking about, this guy's made a lot of money over his career, and he never bought himself anything extravagant ever.
Wow.
Like nothing. And and he was telling a story that his wife was like, hey, you're about to be, 45 for your birthday. Like, maybe just get yourself a nice watch. Like just do something for yourself.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm buying myself the greatest luxury in the world, which is knowing I don't ever have to do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah, man.
Like that's the greatest luxury. If you could ever literally have that luxury of, at any moment, if you don't like what you're doing, you don't have to do it.
Yeah, man.
Like few people ever get that.
Yeah.
Get that luxury. So I think, I think I have a similar mindset in terms of how
honestly, you're not dressing all fancy with chains and watches and like, you know what I mean? You got a family you're taking care of and all that stuff. But like, you guys did there's been so many collabs, like the most collabs probably ever a water brand or even a liquid brand's ever done. I mean, we'll get to the Dream collab, but like oversized towels, which are incredible. The Nixons, the Clocks and Colors, Metallica, which was a big deal. Me Undies, Burton, Dog Toys, Vending Machine, Cutie Palooties, which were so clever. The Hoop Head, Cornhole, Yoga Mat, Death Nightlight, lunch boxes, belt buckles, snowboard goggles, flask, Christmas sweaters. What's like a dream collab for you? And you guys are always looking to do collabs or?
Yeah, I mean.
And you have some coming too, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you're talking about, but.
No, collabs are interesting for us because we've built such a huge social following and, and brand, these companies are coming to us because they want to be a part of Liquid Death. Like it's almost like when companies hire influencers and they pay them money.
Totally.
It's like they're coming to us in a similar way where, like we just did a partnership with Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3.
Sick.
And it's like they come in and then we come up with a really funny idea that can basically promote Liquid Death and their game.
Yeah.
But
huge
game, right? And then they basically pay for the production costs of the commercial. So it's kind of like we get to put a Liquid Death commercial out for free.
Sick.
To their audience, to our audience. And it's like both sides benefit. It's like, hey, for them, it's a really great deal to get access to the Liquid Death audience and promote their game. And for us, we get access to their audience. And we just put a piece of marketing out that cost us $0.
Wow.
So it's like, I think collabs can be interesting. I think I get most excited about the most unexpected ones. Like the Martha Stewart one was still one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Because no one expects Martha Stewart and Liquid Death to do something. And
the Me Undies was incredible too, though. Me Undies, that was so cool. It came out so good, and like,
Yeah, people loved it. And MeUndies, I mean, I think they do big partnerships like Marvel and all of that
yeah,
with underwear. And they were saying that the Liquid Death collab was one of the most successful ones they had done that year, even with like Marvel or Disney or whatever the fuck else that
yeah,
they'll license for stuff. So yeah, I think it's all about, if we're going to do something, you know, we want to make it really cool, really
yeah.
funny. Like you have to keep the bar really high. You know, you don't want to just do something just to do it. It's like, if you're going to do it, like do it in a way that kind of makes people go, holy shit, I can't believe they did that.
I
Or,
know, I
yeah,
know, and it's all been like that. It's all like
yeah,
left field, right field
yeah.
shit, and they don't expect. Maybe like a sneaker or something. Who knows? Is there like a kind of
Sneaker would be cool.
Is there like a dream collab for you?
I always thought it would be cool because, surprisingly, one of the best selling merch items we've ever launched is the Liquid Death Nixon watch.
So cool.
Like, I mean, that's like a $300
Yeah,
thing from a
yeah.
water company, and people fucking love it. And we're selling a ton of them. So I think it would be so cool for Liquid Death to do a collab with like one of the high end watch companies.
Like a Rolex or something.
Yeah,
or,
something that you would never expect them to do a Liquid Death thing. And we put, I don't know, fucking Diamond Reapers on it or something crazy. But
what are
like,
some of the big
that'd be
watches? I know Jay-Z sings about some of those watches, man.
yeah, there's like Rolex.
Mariner.
There's
Sub. I forgot the call. I never even had one, but I know you talked about there's different levels to them. That'd be sick. It's a high end.
Watches are
The ring was sick too, though.
Yeah, the ring is
Clocks and colors.
The clocks and colors. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So I'm sure people are trying to pitch themselves to you guys all the time to do collabs. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's tons. And again, now we're in the mode of like, hey, we used to say yes. Now it's like, hey, now let's really make sure that we're really excited about it and that it makes sense. And once you've been through these, like, you also realize, because Liquid Death, like, I mean, we are not like almost any other normal company.
Yeah.
So it's like, when we start partnering with these bigger companies, you start seeing that like the lower level people get excited about the collab with Liquid Death. They reach out. Oh yeah, we want to collab. Okay, great. Yeah, let's do this cool idea. Liquid Death comes up with this really funny idea, but then ultimately, to get the final green light, they got to get it approved by these high level executives that maybe don't get it. And it could kind of become like a pain in the ass process where we're like, we don't need to do this with you, and we don't need to go this back and forth and deal with your bullshit corporate culture.
Yeah.
So I think we think about that stuff too. Like, hey, if we're going to collab, like, we're not going to be pulling any punches as Liquid Death. We're not just going to water something down.
Yeah.
You know, no pun intended. Just to work with someone. It's like, this is what we want to do. We want to make something legitimately funny, and here's what it is. And if we think that it's going to be too much of a pain in the ass to get it through their channels, then like, we'll just say,
it's not worth the
time.
Yeah. And also it's like, I know you guys aren't a corporate company, but it is a corporation, and it is on the level with big corporations. You're like head to head with a lot of people. So like, are you perceived as that? Once they meet you and see this a normal guy, like, you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting how that is, like, because you're in there with all the big, the big guys. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
but you're not that. You're like an independent label, like going against the majors.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's interesting.
But I think it's important, as crazy as Liquid Death is in terms of like the marketing we do, and that kind of stuff, I think people will be really surprised when you actually meet all the different people that work at Liquid Death and in different departments, that it's incredibly professional. Like, these people are legit, right? And that's almost what I have to kind of help people realize. It's like, hey, just because like we make funny commercials doesn't mean when we're going to talk to a retail customer, you should just be cracking jokes. It's like we
be all goofy and shit. Yeah.
Because of the brand name, it's like anybody who's never heard of Liquid Death, and whether that's maybe a retail buyer or a potential investor, they hear Liquid Death and they're going to come into the meeting assuming, oh yeah, this is probably some fucking punk rock company with a bunch of these like kids, like thinking that they're running. And then when we have the meeting, my goal is to blow their mind. Holy shit, I never knew you guys were this buttoned up and have your shit together this much. Like,
absolutely.
I think that's been a reason that we've been able to grow as fast as we have, because these retailers, I mean, I mean, they don't fuck around.
They don't.
You know, and it's like when they see that, wow, Liquid Death, we have our shit together. Like we've got great people. We know how to actually execute the business part of like producing beverages, selling them to distributors, selling them to retailers, managing those distributors, managing the retailers. Like all that stuff is like the real hard work that actually builds the company. The marketing, I don't want to say it's easy for us because we've got the right people. Like that's the fun part for us. Like we can be doing that stuff in our sleep a lot of the time, but it's like the hard part is the supply chain. It's managing distributors who don't give a shit about you and retailers and all that stuff. I mean, that's like the grunt work that gets it done.
Yeah. Have you guys been turned down just because of the name? Nobody even gave it a shot?
Millions of times.
And even still now at this point? I
think we finally got to the point now where literally finally at this level of scale, all the retailers kind of love us.
Okay.
And they realize, they get it. Like they get it. They see that, you know, people get it. And not just, you know, they might think, oh, well, Liquid Death, there's going to be 10 metal guys that buy this and no one else, right? But when they see that, holy shit, you know, mom is buying this because she's like, finally, my 9-year-old is excited to drink water instead of soda.
So cool.
And that's so valuable. It's like just because he feels like he has something he's not supposed to have. Or cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's always been my vision for Liquid Death is, yes, there's the death to plastic part of it, which is, you know, hey, plastic bottles are a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Aluminum's a way better alternative. It's infinitely recyclable. But most healthy products only market to health nuts.
Good point.
I want to make healthy products for people that nobody makes healthy products for.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're seeing. It's like, you know, no one is pushing healthy products to be something that seems cool to a 9-year-old.
True.
No one's making a healthy product that seems really cool to a construction worker
that's
going in 7-Eleven. And, you know, maybe they were buying 2 Monster Energies before. Now they might be buying a Monster Energy and a Liquid Death. And it's the first time they're really buying a water and they're at least incorporating something healthier into their routine. Like that is way more meaningful to me that like, hey, these people who don't typically care about health, through a brand, you get them to start incorporating more healthy things into their life.
Yeah, man.
Versus only preaching to the choir, like that most other, you know, healthy brands do.
I mean, for us, I mean, Liquid Death's huge. It's everywhere. Everybody we know knows about it. Our whole, like our circles, our friends, but also you're running the company, so you know who hasn't heard of it yet. It'd be interesting for some sort of collaboration or commercial with somebody from a different genre, maybe country or hip hop, whatever, just to see who's never even heard of it, because there are people that hasn't heard of Liquid Death yet. For you, it's for us. It's like the whole world freaking knows. It's everywhere we go. It's every store. It's every show I go to. Everybody's drinking. Every band's drinking it. But it's like it'd be interesting to see like the next wave or like who gets in front of. I don't know what person like is. I don't know. You know what I mean? Somebody to work with. It could be.
Well, I think the audience for Liquid Death and who likes it is so wide and crazy. And I think the one piece of connective tissue is like, whether you're a hip hop person or a death metal person or a country person, if you're someone who would say about yourself that you have a pretty good sense of humor, you probably like Liquid Death.
Yeah.
But regardless, if it's a metal guy that's too serious, he's not going to like it.
Yeah.
If you're a hip hop guy that's way too serious, you're probably not going to like it. So I think it's more about like, we're a brand that's all about making people laugh. Like Monster and Red Bull, they built these huge companies where they blur the lines between an entertainment company and a beverage company. But their specific entertainment is action sports, you know, skateboarding, snowboarding, all of that. There's more entertainment in the world than just action sports.
Yes.
So our entertainment is more like comedy. So we think about our marketing team more like we're Saturday Night Live. We're making all these really funny skits.
Yes.
And we have cool, you know, celebrities that come in as guests and become a part of our show.
Yeah.
And that's how you just entertain people and make people care about Liquid Death beyond just the liquid itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why should I care about your company beyond just the fact that you taste 0.0005% different than the other 20 brands, you know? And most brands are like that. Like whether it's Monster, Red Bull, iced tea, coffee, it's like most brands taste very similar. Like in a blind taste test, most people could not
Wow.
tell the difference between most brands. So it really matters that people care about your brand beyond just that little functional difference.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to support this brand over this one because they do this. Or, hey, I want to walk around with this product because, I don't know, it's going to create a conversation.
Of course,
or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Even you talk about the people you're working with. I mean, there's so many. I think the first one, but the little Nas X thing, like, I want you to talk about that a little bit. I remember that was kind of crazy where he dropped that shoe and then somehow he ended up with Tony Hawk. Like, what was that story? Was it something on Twitter or?
Yeah. So the Tony Hawk story was a fun one. One, because he was, my childhood idol was Tony Hawk. Like when I was 6 years old and my parents asked me what I wanted to do, my mom tells me, I said, I want to draw skateboards. That was what I wanted to do. And I had, Tony Hawk was when I got to pick out my first skateboard at age 7. I picked out a Tony Hawk board myself. So then all of a sudden, cut to me and you were skating at.
That's right.
We're skating at Steve Caballero's ramp.
Yes.
And I'm talking with Steve, and I'm like, yeah, I actually have a Tony Hawk tattoo, like from the very first real skateboard I ever bought with the claw behind the hawk. And he was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, do you care if I send a photo of it to Tony? And I'm like, no, that'd be rad. So he sent it to Tony. Then that's kind of how like the connection happened.
So cool.
And
organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tony, we happened to be raising a round, and I mentioned, hey, would you want to invest? And he was like, yeah, that's super cool. So then Tony came in as an investor. And then we had this idea to do a funny video with Tony. And we know, like, because Liquid Death, again, we're a comedy brand. Like if we try to do the action sports thing, Monster and Red Bull, they have endless money that they pay athletes with. Like it'll never move the needle for Liquid Death trying to buy our way into action sports. We can't compete with them.
Yeah.
But we can be funny and they can't be funny.
True.
So we said, if we do something with Tony Hawk, we're not just going to post a video of Tony Hawk doing a crazy trick. What's a really funny thing we could do with Tony? So we came up with this idea that we pitched to him. We're like, hey, Tony, what if we hire a professional to take blood from you? We film it, and then we mix the blood into red ink that we silkscreen a limited run of skate decks with, of Liquid Death Tony Hawk skate decks. And he loved the idea. And he said, because he grew up in the 70s, he said Kiss did a thing in the 70s where they put a little bit of their blood in this ink that they printed a limited run of Kiss comic books with.
Wow.
And he remembered that. And he was like, I thought that was the coolest thing. This is kind of like almost like the Kiss thing. So he was into the idea, surprisingly. And we went and filmed him on his ramp taking the blood. And then
that was during the Lil Nas X dropping those Nikes too, right? Or something.
Yeah, that was before. He had dropped it like several months before that.
People freaked out about that. I remember.
Yeah, people freaked out. Now, that's a little bit different because the Lil Nas X shoes had pentagrams and I think 666 on it. So it was this like Satan joke, which he made because when he came out as gay, all these people on the internet were telling him he was going to hell. So as a joke, he wanted to lean into the fact.
I love that.
Well, I guess I'm a Satanist then, or something funny.
Yeah.
So he made the shoe. But the problem is in America, religion is very sensitive. Like the minute you start talking about Satan or 666, America flips the fuck out.
It's true.
And that's kind of what happened. It wasn't about that there's blood in it. It was more that like it was a Satanist sort of presented thing. And that's what people flipped on. So cut to, several months later, or maybe it's even a year later, we dropped the Tony Hawk blood board. And, first off, these boards sold out in like 10 minutes. And then just the video talking about, what we did got picked up by all the media outlets. Everybody was sharing it. Like it kind of broke the internet that day.
Wow.
Then once it got huge, then Lil Nas X caught wind of it. So then he went on to an Instagram post and said, nah, he tweaking. And it was a joke because he was like, he got lit up for the blood shoe. everyone thinks his Tony Hawk blood board
Wow.
is so great. He just was kind of giving like a sarcastic jab that they were hating on him, but not Tony.
Gotcha.
But I think there definitely was a nuance between people are weird about Satan. It's not so much people are really weird about blood. They're weird about
Interesting.
Satan, right? And then it spawned this whole thing where everybody started commenting "Nah, he tweaking" on Instagram posts. And it started taking over Instagram, where the actual Instagram account had to acknowledge, hey, you might be seeing all these "Nah, he tweaking" comments. It's not, it's not a glitch, someone's not taking over the platform. It's just this like weird viral thing that happened. Then that spawned this story of, is Lil Nas X and Tony Hawk beefing?
Jeez, man.
And I got introduced to Lil Nas X's manager through a buddy of mine, who he's a drummer named Uriah Hackney.
Okay.
Lives in Burlington. Incredible drummer. He was a fill-in for Ben Collar for Converge when Ben broke his arm or whatever. He's insane. And he's a black kid too. But he's like a hardcore drummer and like he's just insane. We got connected with him. We used to send him free water. And then he grew up with Lil Nas X's manager, who's from Vermont.
Wow.
He's like, oh, you got to meet this guy. He's so down to earth. He's chill. Even though these guys have made like huge hit songs, they're just so down to earth. So he introduced me to them. They were like, oh yeah, come hang out at the studio. So I met Lil Nas X.
Wow.
Went to their studio. They're all super chill.
Yeah.
So I already kind of knew them.
Yeah.
I knew Tony. So I reached out to the manager. I'm like, everyone thinks they're he's like, no, they're not beefing. He's just being sarcastic. Like he loves Tony.
Yeah.
And then, so we said, hey, let's get Nas and Tony together to do a video that we put out, because people will probably freak out.
Totally.
So so Nas went to Elliot Sloan's vert ramp, and Tony showed up, and they made this funny little video where it looks like Tony dresses like Nas and is doing a trick. And then we put that out. So it was this whole crazy saga of like idea that kind of
flipping a negative to a positive too, though.
Yeah.
Wow, man. See, that was like the first, then since then there's been like, well, I love the Whitney Cummings recycled plastic surgery. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was super creative. And then the Tom Segura glory hole, which was amazing. And then let's get to the Travis Barker one, which was like crazy. Because I think there was a couple options for Trav, and the one he picked was obviously the Enema of the State one, which was incredible. But there was also like possible maybe his sweat in a can of perfume, or like a camera in his stomach and playing the drums. He had a couple options to pick from. And this one was great. Like I went to the thing, and like once I got that, I realized like where my position was going to be on the Human Centipede. That was my first time like ever acting, and they wanted me to wear some crazy underwear. I was like, no, I'm good. When you were there, that was a moment, dude. And that was really, really fun. Just like seeing Travis like act and speak, because he doesn't really speak that much. And that was a pretty big one, I think, right? That was a crazy one.
Yeah, that was huge. And it was, you introduced me to Travis.
Yeah.
And the first time we talked, I think, we got along pretty well. Like, because I think we're both kind of, soft spoken.
Yeah, you guys are. Yeah.
Man of few words, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think like we got along well, and then he came on board Liquid Death, and then
so cool.
And I remember he was, he's a competitive guy, and he's like, whatever we do, like I wanted to be, we got to beat the Tony Hawk thing. Like that's the bar, like he was like, he wanted, and
it did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was pretty close. I mean, because of the Nas X thing, that sort of took it to this whole nother level, but like just the idea to idea, like, the Travis Barker one probably just purely from the video standpoint outperformed the Tony one.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great example of like, Travis isn't someone who's like constantly going out doing funny, irreverent stuff. So it took a little bit to get him on board with like, hey, if we really want this thing to blow up, like it's gotta be fucking, you've never heard of this before.
Yeah.
Like it can't just be something that, is expected, or like, it's gotta have some teeth. And I think like once he sort of was on board with, this makes sense. And, you know, and I think it was we had to make sure that the way we did the video was done in a way that like, it wasn't going to freak him out.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't make him feel too uncomfortable when we're shooting with him. Like we kind of just, you know, we're very cautious about how we put it together. And then we were able in the edit to kind of bring it all together in the edit to be super funny.
Yeah.
And I think when he finally saw it, he's like, oh yeah, this is great. But like in the early things, even like you probably, like, it's hard to envision what the final thing is going to be.
Yeah. I remember watching Travis do his lines and just watching the thing and just like, everybody's looking at you, you're like doing these lines. It's just, it's a different world, you know?
Yeah.
The cool thing about Travis is like, I mean, once I started sending him whatever, water, he would love the water and always text me like, yo, I love Liquid Death so much. I just, you know, and we never post about it. And the thing about Liquid Death that I love, it's always like hand in hand, check out the product. Nobody ever asked anybody to post anything. If they loved it, they post it. Most people posted it anyway. So many people did. And then I started seeing, people started seeing the Liquid Death in the background in some of his photos. And he already had a deal with another company and they were like kind of tripping on it, but they didn't have any water. So somehow he finagled a deal where he could do both, which I thought was awesome because he loved Liquid Death so much. And that says a lot about the brand. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was so organic, man. It was like, that was cool.
Yeah. No, that was one of the better ones for sure.
And then also the Old People commercial, which my son got to be in with Jen and Chappelle. That was incredible. They got to get their faces like same kind of person who did the Johnny Knoxville stuff, right?
Yeah. His name is Tony.
Bad Grandpa.
Yeah. Oh my God. What the fuck is his last name? I'm totally brain fart.
You've seen those movies with Johnny Knoxville. Yeah. Just Jackass. He dressed like the grandfather.
Dude, he was like, this guy, Tony, he did remember Child's Play, Chucky?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he did like legit stuff in like old 80s and 90s movies. And then, he did Bad Grandpa and like the old people prosthetics in Jackass. And then, we got him for this. And we've worked with him on a couple other things since then. He's so great to work with. He's insanely pro.
And Jason Ellis was in there too, as old guy boxing and stuff.
Yeah.
That was so cool. That was a really, really cool moment doing that too. And then also ended up going to Tony Hawk's ramp with you and just being there was a very surreal moment and seeing you drop in, you skating and like, that was scary being on top of the deck, watching him skate and he's looking down. That ramp is so gnarly, dude.
We got to get you to drop in on that. Though.
I know, but just going out there, that was very surreal too. Yeah. Probably surreal first time you going out there too and hanging out with Tony Hawk.
It was so weird. Yeah. I mean, and of all the like, you know, famous people, celebrities, whatever that, you know, I've kind of come in contact with Liquid Death. Like Tony was the one where it probably took me the longest to just like be able to be just fucking normal.
He's pretty chill too.
He's very chill. No, he's the most chill.
Yeah, and that can be intimidating too.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, that's the, like, again, like Tony Hawk was like one of my earliest memories as a child. Like, you know, at 6 years old, like all I wanted to do was skateboard. I watched that movie Gleaming the Cube on repeat.
Yeah.
And so, he probably had the most like, you know, emotional connection in my upbringing and that kind of thing. So it took, now it's like, it's totally cool. And, you know, he's just a dude like anybody else. And
he's just, but it's still intimidating. When you see him, it's still like him though.
Yeah.
Also this new thing you talked about, Moon, this eBay bid thing you're doing. So people could, I guess they could bid on eBay, and then have like their logo or company on the side of the box from like October to December. Like, maybe like, I think 500 million people probably see this on the box. And I think Coinbase won it. Can you break down that thing too? That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah. So the biggest marketing moment of the year for any company is the Super Bowl. Yes. I mean, I think the stat is about just over 100 million people watch the Super Bowl every year. And Super Bowl commercials are very expensive. It's like this year it was $6 million for 30-second commercial.
And real quick, another part of the question, did that commercial help Liquid Death? You think you did that year? Impact?
Yeah. So backing up 2 years ago, Super Bowl, we ran a Super Bowl commercial, but there's multiple ways you can buy a Super Bowl commercial. You can buy a full national commercial where it's $6 million for 30 seconds. However, where they get you is they're like, okay, it's $6 million for the Super Bowl spot if you want a full national, whatever network gets the Super Bowl that year, because it rotates. It's like, oh, it's Fox one year, then it's CBS, then it's. So whatever the network is, they say, okay, we have the Super Bowl this year. You got to pay us $6 million for the Super Bowl spot. But then you also have to commit, let's say, an additional $6 million to running commercials on our other sports channels throughout the year.
Wow.
So it's really not $6 million. It's actually $12 million.
Wow.
If you want the Super Bowl commercial. So
dang.
That's how you buy them nationally. However, what you can also do is you can buy regional Super Bowl spots. So you could buy a commercial on the Super Bowl that, let's say, only people watching in St. Louis will see.
Okay.
And it's way cheaper that way, right?
Interesting.
So what we did was we couldn't afford the full national thing. So we said, let's do regional buys so that like half the people watching the Super Bowl will see it.
Still
so like,
huge.
Yeah. So most of the major cities like LA, New York, Dallas, Seattle, like all these kind of major cities.
Smart.
Yeah. So then it was like, 40 million people would have seen our ad, but not 100.
Okay.
And then you can do that for like maybe 3.5 million total.
Okay.
So it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And the only reason we did the Super Bowl commercial, because if you run a Super Bowl commercial for most companies, it's not like the next day everybody's jumping in their cars and running out to go buy your product.
True.
You'll get some lift in sales, but there's no way it's paying for the spot.
Okay.
But 4 months before the Super Bowl that we ran, we were presenting to retailers to carry Liquid Death, because that's the way it works. All the retailers, whether it's Kroger, Albertsons, whoever, Target, they meet with brands in the fall.
Yeah.
And you pitch them your product. They make the decisions then in December for what new products they're going to bring in for the next year.
Gotcha.
So if you don't get in the fall, you have to wait a whole nother year before they'll even consider to bring you in. So at that time, we weren't in almost any of the really big retailers, and they were still kind of on the fence about Liquid Death. They're like, you have great sales, but it's death. It seems kind of risky. So we knew they were on the fence. So we said, what if we buy a Super Bowl commercial and then go into those meetings saying, hey, and we're going to be running a Super Bowl commercial, it makes it way harder for them to say no.
Smart.
Because then they have to justify to their boss, wait, you said no to Liquid Death and they told you they're running a Super Bowl commercial?
Wow.
They don't want to get yelled at by their boss.
Yeah.
So the Super Bowl, it was more about, it made all the retailers who were on the fence say yes.
That's cool.
Which got us into retail. So we didn't really care what happened after the Super Bowl. That got us in.
And you make the money back later on through the retailers.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's one of the hardest retailers to get into?
It really comes down to like which retailers at their executive level are the most conservative.
Yeah, like Targets, Walmart, just different stuff like that in the country. And
so there's still a retailer, HEB in Texas.
Okay.
They were founded by, I think it's called the Butt family, that were like evangelical Christians.
Okay.
And extremely conservative retailer.
Gotcha.
Doesn't matter that they sell alcohol and cigarettes.
Interesting.
But their buyers liked Liquid Death, actually. They authorized Liquid Death in like a certain number of their stores. So like our people we were building these displays that were in HEB.
Damn.
One of the like VP people at HEB, this woman, she saw the displays, immediately sent out a thing saying, why is this product in our stores? This is not a brand fit for us. And she cut the product off.
Wow.
And literally the buyers were like, we've literally never seen this happen. Like they're the ones who decide what goes in the store. Wow. They got trumped by someone above saying, no, we're not carrying this. I think we might even be back in the store. So it's like,
wow.
Everyone eventually realizes like Liquid Death, like what we're doing is positive. Like we're not pushing 200 milligrams of caffeine on kids. We're not pushing alcohol. We're not pushing,
it's water.
Yeah. Shitloads of sugar. It's like all this funny, death and whatever. It's all for positive things. Like it's making kids drink water. It's about health. It's about sustainability.
Environment. Everything. Yeah.
So it's like at a certain point, it's kind of crazy. That's like, okay, because of a name, you don't want to let a healthy brand sell in your stores, but cigarette, alcohol companies, no problem there.
Yeah.
It's just
you're threatened by the name. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, that's what's always made the retail part hard. Cause a lot of retailers were like that early on. a lot of them kind of quickly understood and got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there still might be a couple holdouts, but eventually they're all going to take it. At a certain point, you just know, why are we not carrying this? Literally all of our competitors around us all have it. We're just losing money, not carrying it. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And so the water is originally from Austria. Now it's made in America too. That was probably smart financially, right? Shipping stuff back and forth and that move.
Well, the only reason we were ever in Austria to start is because when I wanted to create spring water in a can originally, there wasn't a single place in America that could produce it. Didn't exist.
Okay.
So the only place I could literally find in the world was in Austria who could put spring water in cans.
In the size can too. Yeah.
So we went over there, we're producing it there, and kind of always knew we would move it to the US because there's no real need. I mean, water, it's not like the water in Austria is so much different than the water from the mountains of Virginia or the mountains.
Yeah.
Like it's all the same thing.
Okay.
And I think that's the thing. It's like Americans have this weird false assumption that anything from Europe is higher quality. And in fact, you know,
there's less GMOs in some of the foods over there. Obviously, some of the foods are more healthier.
Yeah. They have.
I can taste the difference.
They have stricter standards on food there for sure.
The bread, everything. Yeah.
But for most things, it's like. So do you know the vodka brand Grey Goose?
Yeah.
So Grey Goose is a French vodka company.
Okay.
It was started by this guy. His first name's Sidney. I forget Sidney Frank, I think is his name. Guy from Connecticut.
Wow.
Not French.
Okay.
Who was kind of a marketer kind of guy. He wanted to make a vodka company, and he knew at that time, Absolute vodka was the most expensive vodka because vodka was this thing that the idea of premium vodka was crazy to most people. Vodka is this tasteless thing. It was cheap. It was purely to get you drunk. Why would anybody spend a bunch of money on something that tastes like nothing?
Okay.
Absolute vodka came out. That was seen as like kind of crazy. Oh my God, there's a premium vodka. This guy was like, I want to make a vodka even more premium than Absolute. But he said, I'm going to produce it in France because Americans will think it's fancier if it's from France.
Wow.
So literally he built this like ugly warehouse hangar in France that's making this vodka. And they brought it here and they just bill it as French vodka. And sure enough, it took off. People were spending double what they were spending on Absolute on Grey Goose.
That's crazy.
So, even when we switched, to the US, we got some people who were like, oh, what the fuck? It's not from Austria. It's from Virginia. It's like, do you actually think that the water in Austria that we're using has magic minerals in it? Or no, it's like water is water and there's mineral levels, and in a blind taste test, there is no way in a million years with a gun to your head you are telling the difference. But again, it's that American perception that's been built into our culture that you just think European cars are fancier, like BMWs, Porsches, like everything you think of as an American from Europe is just fancier and more premium. But
it did sound like that, Austria.
But it's all bullshit. It's just a perception, right?
And so how do you find the new place in America? Is there, it's easy to find a new place? Is there a process to that?
Yeah, I mean, we want the quality to be there. As far as water goes, it's like similar level of minerals in there.
Yeah.
And we happen to find this place in the mountains of Virginia in Bland County, which is like the western part of Virginia. And we got connected with these guys who recently bought this water source that had been around for almost 100 years. And the water comes from over 3,000 feet under the ground.
Wow.
Like this protected, crazy.
See, more exclusive than Austria.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
But we met these guys who had just bought it and they were looking for a brand to partner with, and we got connected with them and it kind of all made sense. They invested and they put the canning capabilities in, and we were able to get sort of, a very similar mountain source water that we could produce domestically, and we don't have to keep shipping water over the ocean, which is, not the most sustainable thing in the world, right?
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit too about the armless palmer that kind of went crazy viral. And, we talked about that off the pod when I was skating with you, but then also that became the dead billionaire. But it's interesting because Arnold Palmers are everywhere. I go to Swingers. It's my wife's favorite drink. Like they're everywhere around the whole country. It's just the name of a drink. People know. Probably not many people from the new generations know even that was a person, right? And so then you have the armless palmer. And how long is that out before the estate kind of comes at you? Like, how long is that out for?
I think it wasn't out very long because
it's a collector's item now too.
yeah. So yeah, it was only out for like a month or two, and then
that's it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then we
my favorite one.
We get a letter saying, oh, it's you can't do this, and then we sent a letter back making the case. Hey, look, because there's this thing, I forget what it's called, but basically there can be a phrase that you own the rights to.
Yeah.
But if it truly becomes ubiquitous, you actually can't stop people from using it.
Gotcha.
Like, so basically, yeah, if you can prove, like if let's just say we had to go to court or whatever, and we did like a survey or study, and we could prove that the average person, they can go into any restaurant, any bar, any place, order an Arnold Palmer and get served a half tea lemonade.
Yeah.
And not actually think that that's being licensed by the golfer's estate.
Yeah.
Then you could, if we were able to prove that, they would actually lose the rights to stop anybody from using Arnold Palmer to describe a tea lemonade.
Okay.
So I think they probably knew they probably wouldn't want to risk that potentially happening. So they kind of backed off, but we also knew like, hey, look, even if we did keep it, we couldn't trademark it. Yeah. So anybody else could potentially use it.
Yeah.
So we just said, you know what, like we're really good at coming up with funny names. Like it doesn't have to be Armless Palmer.
How quick did that come? It seemed like it's fast.
Yeah. So then we came up with this funny idea of Dead Billionaire. Everybody really liked that, thought it was fun. And some people were like, yeah, even if you didn't know any better, like if you just launched Dead Billionaire, that just sounds like a cooler name.
100%.
Regardless if you have any idea of who, Arnold Palmer is or anything like that.
And then people got bummed at that too, right? Some people.
Yeah, like a small portion of like golf Twitter is like, how dare you make a joke about Arnold Palmer? He is an American hero. And it's like, I don't know.
But did he create that drink?
Apparently, yeah. I mean, he's credited.
Do we approve it? Okay.
Yeah, he created the idea of like doing a tea, half lemonade.
I know if he made money off of that probably throughout his life.
Shitloads.
Okay.
So basically, Arizona iced tea. They have a deal with the Arnold Palmer estate.
Gotcha.
So Arizona iced tea makes an Arnold Palmer, and it's the photo of him on the can. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're the only company that Arnold Palmer's estate have licensed the ability to say Arnold Palmer in a commercial way to.
Got you.
So, and that's been going on for, I mean, they've probably been doing that for 20 years or so.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, I mean, those guys still, I mean, there's royalties that you make off every one of those cans that's continually sold. But yeah, I think, that's the hard, this is the hard part about building companies. It's like the bigger you get, it's like, you have to deal with stupid legal shit and all this stuff you never think of. And that's like the least fun. It's like, that's the stuff that's not fun about this whole thing. It's like anything legal is just like, oh my God, like I just, kill me.
You're such a chill person. Do you get stressed out? Do you let it like, you know what I mean?
I get stressed out. I try to stay pretty even keel, and I think it's important, like skateboarding.
That's a good release for you.
Yeah. Music. Like, I've been
learning the drums now.
Yeah. I've been teaching myself drums for the last, year and a half. And like, I'm obsessed. Like I try to play drums every day.
You got some songs?
Good. Got a couple songs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've actually been really lately learning, some Motion City soundtrack songs.
Great
like
band.
that drummer, Tony Thaxton, I think his name is. Like he does some really cool stuff. So I've been trying to learn some of those. But between that and then, I built the mini vert ramp at my house.
The dirt ramp.
The dirt vert.
Dirt vert.
Yeah, the dirt vert.
When I come to your house and skate, which I've done several times, your musical taste, man. I want to talk about that too because it's so diverse. We'll listen to a Veil, and then we're listening to AZ or Beanie Sigel. Like your hip hop shit, like it tripped me out, man. Like a couple months ago, he hit me up about Reasonable Doubt, like Jay-Z's first album. I'm like, this motherfucker, because I know they talk to you about music, and I don't see you like rocking out the Jay-Z in your car, but you have so much love for hip hop. I was blown away by it.
Yeah,
I blessed you with the shirt.
I think, you ask a lot of people. Yeah, that shirt is my new favorite shirt. So
Awesome.
thank you for that.
Of course.
And it fits me absolutely perfectly.
But the music you're playing in the yard, it's like from emo to hardcore to like, you're like, do you remember this band? I'm like, no. And you tell me some obscure name of a band. I'm like, oh shit, I kind of remember that. And this is like random hip hop going through there. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've always been just a true music fan. Like, I think you can ask a lot of people, what kind of music do you like? And most people say, I like everything.
totally.
No, you don't. Do you like Cannibal Corpse? No. Well, you don't like everything, do you?
Good point.
But I think I truly like everything. Like, I will literally listen to Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Jay-Z.
Jadakiss.
Yeah, Jadakiss. Motion City Soundtrack. Like, Modest Mouse. Fucking, I mean, Adele. I mean.
Yeah, you didn't saw it though. Yeah.
And I think like that's, something that we share. It's like,
Totally.
You're into Adele as much as you're into fucking Madball, as much as you're into fucking Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know how to articulate what it is, but it feels like any good music that feels like it has real soul or authenticity to it.
Yeah.
Which could be any genre, whether like it's legit scary death metal or, punk that's got like a real, soul to it, or Adele or whoever. It's just good, and I think of music more like, I think most people think of movies. It's like people ask, what kind of music do you listen to? It's almost like asking, what kind of movies do you watch?
True.
It's like, well, sometimes I watch dramas. Sometimes I watch comedy. Sometimes I watch horror. Sometimes I watch, that's how I think of it. For me, music is like a movie. It's like, oh, I want death metal when I'm in the mood for like kind of like that horror movie thing. And it's like, hey, sometimes I do want to watch a sad fucking movie, and sometimes I want to listen to sad music. It's
Do you feel like you become more emotional as you became a dad?
Oh, totally.
It's great.
It's funny. People have talked about that, and it's like, I'm like, what is that like?
Crying at random kids' movies or commercials, just random things, man.
Dude, I was just I typically in the morning, like I wake up.
Are you an emotional person?
I'm pretty emotional, but I never cried. Like as a kid, I cried all the time. Like I was a little fucking baby a lot of the time. And I think it was sort of like I got all the crying out early kind of. And then as I got older, like I didn't cry as much. Like it was rare that something would bring me kind of to tears.
But
yeah, now that, I have a kid, it's like, when I watched that fucking movie Coco, have you seen that?
No, because Max is older now, but I heard it's great.
Oh, dude, like I totally cried like at the end of that movie when like,
Nemo was it for me, Nemo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All those movies. There's always some sort of death or tragedy in there.
You're pretty emotional. You cry a lot, huh?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm too sensitive for hardcore. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you become a dad, it just changes everything. So even that perspective on like now you have a family, and you have this big business you're in, and then balancing all that stuff too, And you're traveling a lot too.
Yeah. I mean, for a CEO, I definitely don't have to travel that much compared. I mean, there's CEOs that I talk to where they're gone for like months out of the year.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Like, luckily I don't have, I mean, we built the company during COVID. So
crazy,
it was, everybody got used to Zoom, and now it's like, technology was always there, but no one like used it. Now everyone realizes, oh, actually, do you really need to fly across the country to have a 1 hour in-person meeting?
Yeah.
Very few cases where that is necessary. Most of the time, hey, doing a video Zoom is fine. So
yeah,
able to have a lot of meetings, that way. And also, I work, we're a fully remote kind of company. Like
totally.
People live in Chicago and New York and Texas and all over.
In Europe too now.
Yeah. And working from home. I go in the office maybe 1 or 2 days a week just to kind of have some of that in person, which I think is important.
Are there people in there too from all around the country coming through the office, obviously, right?
Yeah, people come out.
Yeah.
People that live in Southern California who maybe work from home, they come in. There's a couple people, like our head of marketing, Dan, he's in the office 5 days a week because he just likes being in the office. He's just more productive.
Yeah, leave your house. It's nice.
Yeah. Or our COO, Joe, I mean, he has kids. It's like he's in the office every day because he's just like, I can't be productive at home. Like I need to.
It's hard as distractions, especially have kids too.
Yeah.
You want to separate the two. But yeah, back to your rap real quick. Jay-Z, Eminem. There's one thing you said to me too. You sent me a text, and I actually saved the text about just talking about like old school rap, and it's like you said like one of your favorite skaters is from the 70s riding like a banana plastic board. How do you compare that to Tony Hawk or Costin? It's so true though.
Yeah, it's like the old school rap. It's like I like it, and it's great. It's a type of music that is good to listen to, but because rap has it's this unique music where the virtuosity is in the lyrical delivery.
Yes.
You know, a lot of the time, or what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then those two things combined together are what make the greats. It's like when you can have this really interesting technical delivery that's also saying something that's really good.
Yeah.
That's the best. I think you have
delivery, flow, lyrics. Yeah.
Like, I never really liked that. I was never into the hip hop that was super technical delivery, but not really saying anything. Like, you know, rhymes committable, suspendable, belittable. It's just like they're just throwing words around.
You sound pretty good actually doing that.
Yeah. They're just like throwing words around that make these really technical rhymes.
Fast and
but you're not actually saying anything that feels real or meaningful or is making me think, you know?
Yeah.
And at least that's the hip hop that I always sort of related to, was when, I feel like that's why
storytelling, all that stuff.
Yeah. That's why I think Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt, is still one of the best, if not the best, hip hop record ever made, front to back. There was a short documentary kind of about him making that album.
I saw it.
Great. And he basically was like, that album was 19 years in the making. That was his whole life up until 19 years old, stuffed into an album.
Yeah.
So then it's like when you make the second album, you don't have 19 more years to put, you know, it's harder to keep putting out stuff at that level. But that's like, I think it was the best blend of, you know, just his technical ability, storytelling, and his just point of view on it. It wasn't just him talking about, this is all the shit we did. It was like he had a higher level point of view where it's like reflecting on him knowing what he's doing is bad.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is.
And it's his first record too. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You also turned me on to Pieces of Man by AZ, which nobody ever talks about. AZ, who was Nas's boy and Nas put on. He was on all those great records, Illmatic, everything. But it's a great album, man.
It's great.
It was so random. He said AZ. I was like, what?
And I think, you know, as a marketer, it's like the reason that AZ wasn't bigger than he is because of the name. It's like there was already Jay-Z. When you're AZ, it's just that it's now. I think he probably he probably had AZ as his name long before Jay-Z.
He probably did.
But it doesn't matter when Jay-Z's huge and you're AZ. Like, it's going to be really hard. Hey, what's your name? AZ? Jay-Z? There's like no AZ. You know. So I just think that's why brand matters. It's like you could be the best tasting fucking product or whatever, but if you don't have the right brand, it's hard to get it to actually, you know, take off.
He was a great rapper, but the marketing, his name wasn't right.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Damn, you love Jadakiss Freeway too, obviously.
Yeah, and where I kind of got introduced to a lot of this, it's like, I mean, one, like we grew up, yeah, I grew up, you know, very kind of inner city elementary school where, you know, being a white person was actually the minority in the school, right? So I was around that culture growing up, but then it was like, you know, we talked about this on the last pod. It was like 7th grade.
Yeah.
I changed schools to Pennsylvania. I got back into skateboarding. You know, Green Day came out. All of a sudden I had this punk sort of wave that came in, and I went down that whole path. But
you love Green Day?
I do love Green Day. Yeah, I mean, Dookie's one. I mean, that album is such a great. I mean, the fact that it transcended so many things that it did.
Yeah.
But really, it was when I went to college for the very first time. I was like 19, and I went for one semester to this art school in Wilmington, Delaware.
I've been there before. Yeah, Wilmington.
Yeah. It was called the Delaware College of Art, and Wilmington is a gnarly city.
Okay.
It's where all the bank, kind of like the credit card headquarters are.
Okay.
So during the day from 9 to 5, there's all these like banker finance people that are all working. But then after 5 o'clock, the city is like a ghost town.
Wow. Okay.
And like you can get shot. Like it's crazy. Like no one lives like in the city.
Okay.
I don't know if it's come along any in the last decade. I doubt it has, but it was gnarly. So there's an art school right in the middle of the city. There's not dorms. So what it was is like an apartment building that the school had like a deal with where they rented some of these apartments and they would put students together in these apartments. And that was kind of like the dorms for the school.
Gotcha.
So when I went in there, I got put into this room. I had a couple roommates. Their names were Brian, Vince, and Daquan. And these were three black guys that grew up in Chester, Pennsylvania, which is like one of the gnarliest places. And they were telling me, they're like, we didn't even hang out with a white person until we were like 14.
Wow.
But they all went to the art school. And like, so we had this interesting apartment where it was like, and this cool experience where I'm introducing them to new things. Like they had never heard Pink Floyd before.
Wow.
Now they smoked a shitload of weed. So we were always smoking weed. You know, that was always like a thing. They were, Brian was really good at chess.
Okay.
So they were always playing chess. They'd have dudes that just got out of prison coming over and playing chess. That was the only time I ever saw Brian lose. A guy came over who just got out of prison who probably played chess every day for years.
Wow.
He came over and he beat Brian. But yeah, it was like this cool where they were listening to AZ. That's how I heard AZ. Like I was like, who is this? And they're like, oh, that's AZ. Like, and they were way into AZ. And I, you know, I had never even heard it. Like,
yeah.
So and then it was
nobody talks about him.
Dude, they showed me for the first time the stand-up special, Eddie Murphy Delirious.
Okay.
Like I had never seen it. Dude, I was crying laughing, you know? So it was this really cool experience and it wasn't that long. It was maybe only like 3 or 4 months that I was there.
Yeah.
But like
massive impact.
Yeah. Massive impact. Like us sharing things from our own respective cultures and having these really deep conversations around, you know, it was like, I remember we had this conversation that was like, when I'm talking to Daquan and he's talking about, you know, we're gonna get these guns, we're gonna get these drugs, I'm gonna flip those, I'm gonna do and we're all high, and I'm like, why do you want to risk that? I'm like, why are you gonna risk doing that? Like, what are you gonna like? Are you gonna get like a, I don't know, I don't know, you're trying to get like a fancy car? Like, he's like, dog, I'm trying to get the money to go to college.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know, suburbs kid, like, yeah, of course. Like, right. I don't think about that. Like, yeah, my parents, like they can help me get a loan at least, even though I paid for my college, but at least you have parents that can help you get a loan. It's like a lot of people can't get that. So it was like, it was this really cool experience where we shared a lot of things. And I remember them also saying, he's like, you know, he's like, black people are actually terrified of white people. He's like, because what we think is like, you never know how far a white person will take it. Like white people kill people and eat them. Like, so he's like, you know, so sometimes like, you know, he's like, we got to act tough, but we're fucking terrified of you guys.
Wow.
You know, so it was like, it was a really cool experience. Learned a lot about music. Like we had a lot of great kind of deep conversations and still to this day, like I still keep in like on Facebook, like Brian hit me up. Like I used to, you know, keep track with Daquan, like he'd be in a different city, but he still had my number and I'd get this random call. What up, Mike? It's Daquan. I'm like, oh, where are you? I was, oh, dog, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm doing some fucking crazy,
wow. So he's still out there.
Yeah, still out there.
That was your introduction.
But that was like that short period of time was, you know, a really impactful, I think, short period for me. And, and that's what really, put me on the hip hop path of like discovering more stuff and developing what my own taste was for it. Cool. And then Meaningful, those guys, like they started going down the fucking Pink Floyd path where they were like, dude, they went from Pink Floyd to like, so. Yeah,
do you have a top 5 MCs?
Oh, I think I might've sent you that. Yeah.
Was it Jay-Z, Eminem, AZ, Jadakiss, Freeway?
Yeah, that's about right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's a good one, man. Nobody puts Freeway in their stuff. He's another credible one, man. And Jay, and obviously
Freeway. I mean, I always
and Beanie Siegel you like too. He's a real.
I like Beanie Siegel too. Yeah,
hard dude.
I mean, whether it's punk, whether it's metal, hip hop, I always I gravitate towards the stuff where it's such its own thing that you can hear it for 3 seconds and you're like, that's Freeway.
You know it's real, and you know.
It's so unique that like they have their totally own lane where you know in 2 seconds that's this person and it's nobody else.
Yeah. What about like Is it true that, I don't keep talking about this. It was in my notes that Rob Dyrdek passed on Liquid Death. You ever talked about that before?
No, I haven't. But yeah,
Or have you seen him since?
I haven't seen him since. I think not, once Liquid Death was already really successful, and this was maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago, him and I hopped on a Zoom call just to catch up.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and you know, and he's cool. And I think, you know, he gets that maybe he missed out on it, but
Well, if he definitely regrets that, man, for sure.
well, yeah, I mean, it was
that as like an investor or just like be part of the company?
so I was living in Chattanooga when I started coming up with the idea for Liquid Death.
Got you.
And then I got a job offer in LA to come be the creative director at Street League Skateboarding.
Got you.
For me, it was like, I hated my advertising job. So I said, shit, me to get paid to work in skateboarding for the first time ever? Like, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I came back to LA, worked for Street League. So then that's, you know, Rob Dyrdek, he wasn't super involved with the day-to-day of Street League, but we still had to check in with Rob periodically on stuff we were doing. So I got to know Rob kind of as like my boss in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, we had a good relationship. I think he respected me as a marketer. Ultimately they fired me because, and I could probably talk about this now because the barracks is what it is now. But at that time,
The barracks is gone too. So
Street League and the barracks were talking about joining forces, becoming like one company.
Okay.
And I think both sides had to go through all this diligence, like, let us look at your books, you look at our books.
Oh yeah.
Before they do that. So, and I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure Street League was like, you know, I was a creative director making pretty good money. So I think they were like, hey, you know, we really need this to happen. So we're going to just start trimming the fat to make our P&L look like we're not spending too much money.
Okay.
So I think they realized like, hey, do we really need this like high level marketing guy? We could probably just have some like former skater that's being a creative director that just knows how to go film with the homies somewhere. And
Yeah.
you know, that wasn't me. So they fired me, but you know, I wasn't pissed. Like, it was amicable. Like, I was like, hey, look, I get it. They treated me well. You know, they gave me a nice little severance.
How many years were you there for?
I wasn't even there for a whole year.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, I started in like May.
Okay.
And then I think I was getting fired in like December.
Wow. Okay.
So then like I started, you know, after that went working for all these random agencies doing freelance stuff, you know, took a couple full-time creative director jobs, all while I'm kind of slowly building Liquid Death on the side. So then finally, once I launched the Liquid Death video on Facebook, and then 5 months into that, the video had 3 million views. The page had 80,000 followers. And I was like, okay, I got enough stuff to actually go raise money. Like, this isn't just an idea anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I've proven out that this can work. Rob was the first person I went to because I had the connection. He had his own little venture firm called Dyrdek Machine, where they were investing in companies. Went and met with him, you know, pitched him the idea, and he liked it. Like, I think he got it. He's like, yeah, this is interesting. But I think, you know, Rob was really good at entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, he built himself an entertainment.
The TV show still is running.
Yeah. The TV, like multiple TV shows, like he's had success with, like, that's his thing. And I think he's been a very successful business guy with like investments he's made. You know, I don't know if it's heavy, you know, how much he invested in real estate versus like companies that actually got bought and sold. So I think he was still even learning how to be a venture capital guy. Cause like he created his own venture firm. He hadn't done that for years. Like, it was new to him. So he was learning, I think, how to be a businessman in that kind of way. Cause it's a different skill when you're like figuring out how to bet on companies. Why is this nothing company have a better chance at making money than this one or this one or this one? And the smartest venture capital investors in the world who have made billions of dollars, they almost all have the same sort of high level philosophy, which is like, you don't really bet on ideas, you bet on people. It's like, I love that. I might not understand this particular idea that someone's pitching me, but if this guy is impressive and I feel like this guy's going to figure out whatever the fuck he's trying to, it's easier to do that because again, these ideas, when they're so small and a lot of them are crazy at first, it's hard to really know what's going to hit or not.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier probably to gauge someone's ability to do whatever the task is. So like, I
Good
think,
point.
so Rob didn't get it. Like he was like, look, he told me, he's like, look, trust me, you don't want to be a CEO. He's like, you don't want to start a company. Like what you want to do is just license this idea to Monster or someone for like $250,000.
Wow. Imagine.
And at that time, because it was so early, I think I was only asking to put in like $75,000.
Jeez.
And I probably would have given him like, I don't know, like 3% of the company or something
That's
crazy at that point.
Dude.
But he didn't know me well enough to know what my true strengths were.
Yeah.
I think like then the actual venture investors who had already had a ton of venture success, which was science.
Okay.
Those were the guys that backed Dollar Shave Club.
Okay.
In 2012. And then Dollar Shave Club sold to Unilever, the big company, for $1 billion. So they made a lot of people a lot of money off that. And then I got connected with them in like 2018. So they already had one huge success.
Oh, yeah.
They also were the ones who backed MeUndies, which got really big.
Wow.
They had a great portfolio of like success of companies they've bet on.
Yeah.
And I think what they saw, they knew that like, hey, when you're selling something like razors or you're selling something like water, it's a brand and marketing game that you're playing.
Totally.
You're not going to win because, our razor has this proprietary little nub on it that like,
yeah.
And same thing with water or most beverage. There's no proprietary thing that you own that no one else can do. Like it's a brand game. And I think when they dug in with me, they knew that I was really good at brand and marketing and I was the right kind of person to win a brand game. Gotcha. And that's why they ultimately invested with us. And they've, we've been one of their most successful investments ever. But I think like that's maybe, what Rob missed was like, hey, really looking at, hey, what is the game for this company that has to be won? And who is the right kind of person to win that game? We're not building the most valuable logistics company in the world. We're building the most valuable brand.
So when we reconnected, he was probably giving you props for everything.
Yeah, no, he was. And I think, his other business partner, Brian Atlas, who is, I still stay in contact with, who kind of ran Street League and he helps Rob run the venture firm. He said, what we learned passing on Liquid Death was like, never underestimate the power of true disruption.
I love that.
Yeah. Which is, it's a good point. It's like when something is truly unique, that's rare.
Yeah, man.
And there's a good chance if you've got a little bit of the right guidance that like you can turn that into something, because again, if you think about it, almost everything has already been done. It's really hard to think of a truly original idea.
Sure. Was there a moment when you realized that like, not that Liquid Death is a hit or this is going to be huge? Was there any moment like when this first came out or in the past couple of years where you're like, this is insane? I mean, probably every day you're probably pinching yourself because it's very surreal, but I'm always like, wow, this is actually taking off. This is going to actually do something. Or you believed in it from the jump as soon as that video went viral on Facebook?
No, I think the moment was,
I mean, the Super Bowl commercial was sick too.
No, I mean, it was probably the very first month that we sold product.
Okay.
That was because we had this whole Facebook thing for almost a year before we ever had real product.
Yeah.
So then when we finally had real product and then you could actually buy it, I think in the very first month, we did like $100,000 in sales.
Wow.
And we spent like $2,500 on marketing.
Yeah.
I think that was the first moment where I was like,
holy shit.
Oh yeah. Like this isn't just a cool, funny social idea. Like this actually, like there's people who want this and are buying it way more than we even predicted. We sold out a product. We were out of Liquid Death for like a month and a half.
Wow.
Because we just underestimated the demand.
So right then you pretty much knew like this.
We have something special here.
Yeah. And then we got off the subject though. We're talking about the Coinbase who won it, but this thing you did on eBay where you could bid and then get your company or promotion on the side of a liquid death box for
Right.
So and like how did that come about and what happened? I know it crashed eBay too.
So yeah, when we did that one Super Bowl commercial that was the cheaper way to do it, then we were almost going to do an actual national spot in the Super Bowl this year, and we were we have a little bit more budget. We could maybe afford that actual national spot.
$6 million.
But the more we thought about it, we're just like, it's still a lot of money. Like, do we really need to do that? Because we did it the first time so the retailers would take us, but now we're already in all the retailers. We really need it. So we said, what if we let's just do something that almost feels like it hacks the Super Bowl this year. Like, let's do something where we can get a bunch of attention and everybody talking about it without actually having to run it.
It's pretty cool.
And we're like, and if we can come up with something that's not expensive at all to put out there, even if it doesn't do anything, it's like, who really cares? Like, we didn't really lose much. But if it does well, it could have a huge upside. So yeah, we came up with this idea. It's like in the week leading up to the Super Bowl, every big company is talking about their Super Bowl spot.
Yeah.
Snickers, Pepsi, they're all like, hey, and they start even playing the spots before the Super Bowl. Hey, Snickers, new Super Bowl spot,
Oh, wow.
Pepsi, Budweiser, like everyone starts talking about their Super Bowl spots. So we said, well, what if when everyone else is talking about the Super Bowl spots they bought, what if Liquid Death is the only company announcing that we're selling an ad as big as the Super Bowl?
Wow.
Because we looked at the
it's genius.
Yeah, we looked at the data and it was like in Walmart and Target and Kroger, when you look at their foot traffic data, in just the top big grocery store chains in the country, every week about 200 million people walk through those grocery stores. There's only 100 million that watch the Super Bowl. Now, granted, not all 200 million people walking through are going to necessarily see Liquid Death.
Yeah.
But
you have great displays though, by the way.
Yeah, if we have a display in the store.
Always up front.
A good amount of people might see it. So you could start actually making a case that isn't bullshit that, hey, running an ad on one of our cases across these grocery stores could possibly reach as many people as the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And that was the funny idea we had. And just making the video for that was super cheap. We didn't have to go shoot anything. We used mostly stock footage and little editing Photoshop shit. And then we got our, one of our sort of investor ambassadors is this sports commentator guy, Kyle Brandt, who is super funny and awesome. He's one of my favorite people. Told him about the idea. I'm like, hey, would you be down to just kind of be the funny little spokesperson? We'll put you in a costume. We're not even going to talk about you.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, I'll do that. So we were able to get him to be a part of it, which I think kind of just helped the funny go to the next level. So yeah, it was really small investment and we didn't know what it was going to do. So we put out the video saying, hey, we're selling an ad bigger than the Super Bowl. And if you're interested, go bid on it on eBay. And we were like, the bidding starts at $500.
Wow.
And then
how high did it get to?
So all these companies started reaching out to us via email, like Progressive Insurance,
because they didn't want to bid. This one to come straight to you.
Well, I mean, this if they're going to do a real thing, they want to do their diligence first. Hey guys, is this real? Like, how does this work?
Wow.
Like, when would it go? Like, how many boxes does it go on? Like, they were really interested, but they wanted to make sure they had all the details.
It wasn't a joke
before they're bidding.
Wow.
So then, we had all these companies, big companies reaching out, so we had the eBay auction. All of a sudden,
was it up for like a week?
Yeah. And all of a sudden it starts ticking up and then it gets to like 200 grand and it's happening. And then what happened was, so like all eBay auctions, if you look at them, all the action happens in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'll bidding people.
Yeah. Because like, why would you bid high early if you don't have to? Like everyone's just waiting for that last 5 minutes and then bids start just coming in like crazy.
Dude.
And the way it works on eBay, you set a maximum bid. This is the most I'm willing to pay. And then eBay automatically bids small increments for you until you get to your max.
Gotcha.
So that's what all these companies, or that's what people do. That's what these companies. So eBay is not set up to have giant Fortune 500 companies creating accounts. It's like for personal people to buy shit.
They work for that. Yeah.
So you have all these big companies that are trying to figure out how to set up eBay accounts.
Unreal.
Connect company credit cards to them that can charge $1 million on it.
Dude.
And then so in the last 5 minutes, what was happening, all these huge companies that were doing really big bids, like some of these companies, one of the companies set their max bid at $1 million.
Holy shit.
And what was happening was eBay's tech was blocking their bids. There was like, no, your bid's too high. We can't allow that. Like you'd have to go through this whole long verification process. And they'd already gone through a verification process where their credit card was approved and all that. And when it's in the last 5 minutes, there's no way to correct it. So then
that's insane.
Then we started getting these emails from these big companies saying, what the fuck? Like we spent a lot of time and energy on this and like eBay won't let us bid. This is fucked up.
Wow.
So then we said, okay, look, we'll figure this out. So we found a way where like we confirmed with eBay's tech team. You're like, yep, these people were sort of improperly blocked. We confirmed who the people blocked were. And we said, hey, submit whatever your max bid was that you set via email. And then whoever the highest bidder is, you're not going to pay your max bid, but whoever the next highest bidder is, you pay like $10 more than them.
Wow.
So it's kind of the same function. Wow. And then we were able to like have like a legit highest bidder auction where we let everybody who wanted
never
to
been
bid.
done on there like that. Never been done like that on there, right?
Yeah, it ended up being, we were the number 9th most expensive thing ever sold on eBay.
Wow. So it got to $1 million probably?
No, it got to, the winner ended up getting it for just over $500,000. Because the next highest bidder was only $500,000. So even though the top person, their max bid was $1 million, they only paid a little bit more than the next highest bidder.
Wow, dude.
And that was Coinbase.
That's crazy, man. I want to go back to a little bit talk about the Metallica collab thing, what I thought was incredible, because I know you grew up loving Metallica and just like, I know they had water shipped to them on tour and just like all that stuff. And then that was a sick moment too. And then you got to go to the show and all that stuff was awesome, man. That's huge. That's a big one for bands, I think, right?
Yeah, no, Metallica, I mean, they invested in Liquid Death in one of our earlier rounds.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, through you actually, because
Jessica Miller, Lars' wife's my friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a sick moment too, because I was sending her water for a long time and I didn't know that you were trying to talk to Metallica. And then one day you sent me a screenshot that Lars said, oh, we'd be getting it from Toby Morse or something like that. So,
yeah.
Just to like the vegan community.
Yeah.
I love that shit, bro.
And Metallica, they're really tight with Live Nation.
Yes,
I think,
he did the deal.
So we were doing a Live Nation deal, and I think between Lars seeing Liquid Death at his house or whatever through Jessica, and then seeing the news come out that, oh, Live Nation just invested in Liquid Death, Lars went to his manager, Paul, who reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah,
wow.
Paul, his manager, who I love Paul. He's the greatest of all time.
He's been there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He reached out saying, hey, Metallica is kind of bummed that like they weren't able to get in on this round because they didn't know what was going on and they saw the Live Nation news and they're familiar with your product. They think it's cool. So we found a way to like get them in. Damn. And then, when they were announcing their tour, they reached out and said, hey, we don't really need, do these title tour sponsors too much, but like we like you guys and it makes sense. So we were able to like get something done and we became like the title sponsor of their,
that was so
their 2-year tour. And we did all this cool stuff together.
The merch and the shorts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I also want to say, I think me skating the Liquid Death ramps, I get jinxed all the time because I got hurt at the first mini ramp where I went to the hospital and I checked my shoulder. That was funny. And then the second time slamming on your ramp, it's just something with Liquid Death ramps because I'd never been hurt in my life skateboarding. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's gnarly,
Well, first I'm doing vert tricks on a mini ramp, which are crazy. And then I go to your ramp, which is really, really big. And just, that was a moment, man. That was getting hurt at your ramp and then not being able to run the half marathon with Travis. And now I'm in PT for 5 weeks, but I'm better. But then going back with Lizzie Armato recently and watching her and Dane kill the ramp with you and watching your progression with skating and your backsides and your 50-50s and all that stuff going. It's awesome, man.
No, it's so fun. I mean,
dirt vert.
Yeah, the dirt vert. And I've as a kid, I always dreamed of having my own skate ramp. I briefly had a really shitty one towards the end of high school that I built in the woods behind my house, but it was like almost unskateable.
Yeah, especially on the East Coast.
Yeah. I think it was like a 6-foot tall ramp that had like 6 inches of vert on it.
Damn.
I mean, it was very hard to skate. But now that I have my own ramp that's, it's like about a 9-foot tall ramp. it's like, yeah, I look forward to just skating now. Like it used to be, I started getting into skating, Bert, a few years ago when I got connected to Tony.
Yeah.
There was a period I lived in Philly back in like 2012, and my roommate and I, we would go to this, it was like an old van skate park in this mall near Philadelphia. It was called the Franklin Mills Mall.
Nice.
And they had this big 13-foot vert ramp that was like an old Vans park vert ramp. And we started dropping in on it and getting comfortable and skating it. We went through this period of like a few months where all of a sudden we were like trying to learn vert.
Yeah.
And I could actually get like a little rock to fakie on that ramp. Like that was, and then I moved away, and like vert ramps, you can't find them anywhere. They don't exist anymore, really. So I literally didn't skate vert for years and years. And then I got introed to Tony, went to his ramp. And I remember dropping in on his ramp with no pads,
bro,
no helmet, nothing. And you could see Tony so nervous watching, like, please don't fuck yourself up.
I see people slamming that ramp.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And luckily I dropped in, I made it, I didn't fall. And then all of a sudden the bug came back. And then I would literally drive from LA to San Diego 2 hours each way just to skate the ramp for 2 hours and then drive 2 hours back.
Yeah.
And I just got really into it. And then I met Andy McDonald.
You took out to that skate camp place, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Woodward.
Yeah, Woodward. Yeah.
Yeah, Andy's become a friend, and he's kind
like
of
pads on the side of the ramp when you trying airs and stuff. What is that? What's it called?
Yeah, Woodward. They have these things. It's called they call it the resi. It's like resin or something. It's like it's almost like plastic, but it's not. Next to the ramp, so you can launch off the ramp, land on this plastic stuff that actually has like mattress type foam under it, so it gives a little bit. So even if you slam on it, it doesn't really hurt.
That's sick.
But it's hard enough that you can kind of ride away on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like a fun way to like practice airs and do that kind of thing. So yeah, now it's just I try to skate at least twice a week on my ramp, and just, it's fun getting better. But to your point, being our age,
yes,
you have to be realistic. Like you can't push it too hard because you can really fuck yourself up and take it out. You take yourself out for a while. So
I
it's
know
like, I'm progressing,
stretching is important. All that stuff. But also, it's like, I was like thinking, I'm like,
do you know Tony Hawk doesn't stretch before he skates?
Really?
That's his thing. Like,
wow.
He goes out, he just starts pumping around. Like, he doesn't stretch before he skates.
His whole life?
Whole life, yeah.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Yeah, that's, stretching's important. And also, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I don't get paid to skate. I don't get paid to run a marathon, but I get paid to play concerts. So it's like, I have 2 big tours this summer going to Europe, and it's like, I want to skate again before I go away, and I want to start running again, but also I am going to be 54 this year. As much as I act and look super young, have all this energy and all this stuff, but I'm still a freaking 54-year-old person. You know what I mean? It's hard. My bones are getting...
I can't believe you're 54. It's crazy.
It's crazy, right, too?
That's crazy.
And then also, too, like, for any friends who are listening or anybody, I really want to talk about this because people hit me up all the time, my job as an ambassador is, hand in hand and all that stuff and connecting, just all this stuff. But there's been so many people that we've spoiled the past couple of years with Liquid Death that was growing. And people hit me up all the time. You do this, you sponsor this, you do that, you send more water. And so many of my friends, it's like we were like drug dealers. Like they got addicted to Liquid Death and now they buy it. And now they get every month, which is awesome. They got a bunch of free stuff. And I love the whole concept of the hand in hand thing. It was like, here's your product. You like it, post it. A lot of our friends did. Some people didn't. And now the company's at a different place. So the people were asking me, like, still, can we get some stuff? I'm like, it's a totally different company. It's been like over 3 years, things have changed. It's expensive to send people, like those cases cost money to send people water all the time. And I get that's how you get the name out there. And I just want people, the listeners and friends, like, it's not like Liquid Death doesn't like you no more and you don't get stuff, but now you don't have to buy it because you've been getting it for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. It's just like I spoiled so many people, and people start getting nervous asking me, "Can I get more?" I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like it's changed. It's like some people really did it and they promoted it and they end up working with the company or being ambassadors or buying into the company and loving the brand. And then some people didn't post, and that's cool. And I don't know. I just want to put it out there to my friends and people that it's expensive to seed and give away water and ship water to people. It's expensive.
Yeah, and
but it's also part of the building of the company and all that stuff and getting the word out there. And
yeah, when a company is in its early stages, you're not making money.
It's almost like $20 a case at least.
Yeah, it's really expensive. But yeah, when you start out as a company, you are able to raise money because the point is, okay, you got to raise money. It's really hard to make money in the early days, but you have to grow. It's like, hey, you got
Spend money to make money.
Yeah, you got to acquire customers, like, and then as you get bigger and more scale, it's like your costs start coming down because it's like, oh, our manufacturing costs come down when you're making 100 million cans instead of 5 million cans. Like,
yeah.
And then at a certain point, you can't just keep raising money forever. So it's like, you have to actually then make the shift. Like, you have to become profitable.
Yes.
You have to actually be a real business that is that makes more money, has more money coming in than the money going out.
That's where you put your CEO hat on to be a business.
Yeah. And that's, Liquid Death, like any other company, like you have to evolve. Like, you can't just keep giving away endless free stuff or you'll just never get to that thing. And you can't just keep raising money. So most companies, the reason they fail is because they run out of money before they ever get to that critical point of either you're profitable and self-sustainable or you get bought by somebody like Coke or Pepsi. And like, we don't want to be bought by Coke or Pepsi. Like, that's not what we want to do.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, staying independent is the most punkest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Like, you started this in the beginning,
And I don't even think they would know what to do with it anyway. Like, they would, and they probably know that. They probably know, like, as much as we like Liquid Death, we know if we bought you guys, like, we would probably ruin it,
Yeah.
So it's like, we're really excited about staying independent and being a self-sustainable, profitable company that's got, really sound sort of business fundamentals on top of like the marketing fun aspect of the brand that we've always had. So yeah, every brand has to evolve. And, it's not like we're like, oh, we don't give away anymore. We just have to be a little bit smarter about how we do it. It used to be just like anybody that wants it.
I know.
And that was good because it really helped people learn about the brand and try it and say, oh yeah, this is good. But at a certain point.
But now it's like, okay, you want some water. What can you do for us? What's going to help the brand? What's going to help get this product in somebody's eyes, never seen it before? Or like, now it's like,
right.
You know what I mean? Before it was just like, yo, try this. It wasn't like, you have to post it. And I love that you didn't have to do that. And some people did, and like I said, but now it's just like, okay, you want all this water. Okay, now what? Because it's not free to send to you. You know what I mean? It's like expensive.
And we donate a portion of our profits to these nonprofits. Like,
one of them is Support and Feed. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Maggie.
Yeah. And
helping the communities.
Yeah. So it's like, we're already, we're doing charity work. It's like, we can't be a charity for everyone and just, hey, anybody that wants free stuff. And it's so funny to me. It's like, I don't know what it is, but like, you go on Twitter. Do you know how many people are just like, yo, can I get some free shit? It's like tons of like,
people just want
free shit constantly. Like,
hey, people entitled, man.
And it's like, for what? Like, it's like,
what are you gonna do for me?
Yeah. It's like, I'd love to give you something, but like, this is, again, we're not a charity.
Yeah.
This has to be a functioning business. There's people that work for us that have families that have to make salaries and that they have to be paid. Like, if this thing goes under, there's a lot of people who would be fucked, So it's like, it's very important that we have a sound business that can sustain for a really long time. And I think over the last couple of years, like, we've made a lot of those really smart moves to kind of just keep taking the company and the business sort of to the next level where, this is realistically a really long-term sustainable company like Monster or like Celsius. That brand has been like crazy successful lately, but that it's all part of growing.
Yeah, man, growing. And then also, and just making sure you're making money off something, you're trimming the fat off different things and making, So all the people that I've been sending water to, now you heard it from the boss man. But yeah, you enjoyed it. We had it for a couple of years, and people were getting water, but it's cool that I have a lot of my friends who buy it and they get it every month and they loved it so much. And it's just like, because we were it was like being like a drug dealer, like, oh my god, more liquor, I'm running out, and people hit me up. And do people still hit you up about it? Do people ask you for that still or no?
For what?
Water and stuff like that, or
not as much anymore.
Yeah,
I think like people will reach out, and these are areas where we still try to support as much as we can. If it's like, hey, I'm hosting this event, or I'm throwing this thing, like, is there any way Liquid Death could like support? And it's like, oh yeah, if there's a way that, there's a little bit of a shared benefit. Oh, we're going to do this. And it's this kind of people. It's like, that stuff can make sense for sure.
Yeah. Is it hard being a boss sometimes too? Like, just like.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's especially when, I make it a point. I always want to do right by people. Like I don't ever want to screw anybody over.
Yeah.
I always want to do the right thing. Cause I think about how it was for me. Like I've been screwed over in the past, and it's like, again, that whole thing of, I think you can do the right thing and look after people and take care of people and still be really successful. Like even when we have people that we've had to like, make the tough decision to like part ways with.
Yeah.
It's like, I still tell them, if you ever need me as a resource. Now, granted, there's very few scenarios where somebody was like just completely like lighting shit on fire. Like everything it's usually a hard decision that we have to make. And like, I want to be able to help people. Like, I'm not here to like, oh, you don't work for me anymore, so I don't give a shit about you. Go fucking figure your shit. It's like, no.
You still have relationships.
Yeah, I have a relationship. It's like, hey, if I can help in any way in the future, like, hey, Mike, do you know anybody at this company? Or hey, could you help me with this? Like, I always try to stay very open to trying to help however I can, because I know that it's hard.
Yeah. We talked about this last time. I'm sure it's changed since then. What's like a daily? What's a day in the life for you? Kind of. You're a coffee guy. I know that.
Yeah, coffee.
You sleep good at night?
I do sleep good at night. Yeah. I go to bed really early.
Like what, 9 or 10?
Yeah, like 10 max.
Wow. Okay.
Like we usually like my wife and I, like we probably get in bed like sometimes as early as like 8 o'clock, watch a show or something, and then I'm just like out. But then I wake up every morning at like 6:30 or 7 with no alarm. I haven't used an alarm in probably five years.
Wow. Okay.
So like I just wake up and then I go and get my daughter out of bed like around 7:30. I get to spend some time with her.
Well, this has changed since the last time you here.
Yeah. I get to spend time with her in the morning. I'm usually the one I take her to preschool around 8:30. And then I start my actual work day like around 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also try to stop my work day most days at 5 to then go spend time with Charlotte for like 2 hours before she goes to bed.
Yeah.
And then if I still have shit I need to do, I can still kind of check emails or send things like, later in the evening. But it's really important to me. Like I'm not ever going to be that CEO absentee father that never sees his kids. And I'm not going to do that.
You shut your phone off too? Is it hard to?
That's hard. And I got to get better at that, because it's just like this constant thing that's on here. But like when I do my best that when I'm spending time with her, I'm not on it. Like, I'm just like, I'm fully in the moment with her while I'm doing that. But then it's like, I got to also be better with like when I'm with my wife, I'm not on my phone.
Hard,
she's like,
dude.
Get off your phone.
It's so hard. We're so addicted to it, man.
Well, recently, so I just got a new phone case.
Oh, and
it's red because I'm like, red's like a stop sign. It might remind me like stop.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
Are you on social media too?
No, I'm not on personal social media.
Are you looking at Liquid Death's like Instagram? You check comments?
So I'm logged in on Liquid Death's accounts. So like I check in just, on what's happening there. And because Liquid Death follows accounts like bands and comedians, like it's kind of like, even from an entertainment perspective, I'm like, oh, I'm getting a little bit of entertainment from social. But my personal social, like I don't really use anymore outside of LinkedIn, but that's like all business.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. There's just something about, I don't really want to like be broadcasting my private life constantly.
I respect that, man.
To people,
Yeah. But are you checking DMs on Liquid Death? Do you respond to people? And
no, we have a social team that's dealing with the DMs and customer service.
So many crazy DMs on there, man.
Oh yeah. And we post some of those funny ones too. Like we still get like weird messages from people that we'll make into a funny social post.
What's that guy drank Liquid Death like every single day for like?
Oh yeah, and I tattooed his face on me.
That's right.
You came up.
Yeah, we went to Dan Smith. Saw the Dan Smith. So this guy drank Liquid Death every single day for a year, and then Mike got
filmed it every day. Yeah.
And then Mike got a portrait of him from Dan Smith. That's so right. That was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Wonder what that guy's doing now. Where he's at, man.
Yeah, I forget. He came up recently.
He did?
Someone said they ran into him somewhere. But
wow.
Yeah, no, that was
that was so crazy.
That was another cool moment for me because it was like
that dude's probably like, what the heck? It's crazy.
Apparently, he said that they said when they told him about it, he cried.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to get my face tattooed on him. It's like, maybe we don't need to do that. But
that was crazy. Yeah.
But for me to see, like, we caught wind of this guy on TikTok, and he kept posting, the video where he's literally chugging an entire can of Liquid Death in 15 seconds. Like,
Damn.
he's basically just pouring it, like you're pouring it out in the sink, but just into his mouth, killing it. And then we saw him, it was maybe like 30 days in. So it's like 30 different posts, and he puts day 1, day 2, day 3. So then we started sending him some free shit. Then he's into like day 150.
Damn.
And then as soon as we get to like day 300, our marketing team's like, dude, he's going to get to a year soon. Like, we got to do something really cool.
That kid's so hydrated.
Yeah, so hydrated. So we're like, what? So I'm like, okay, think of something cool that we could do. And they came back to me. They're like, Mike, what if you get his face tattooed on you?
Bro.
And I was like, I'll do that. Because to me, it was like, that was another moment. Yes, the month 1 of Liquid Death, we did $100,000 in sales. I was like, wow, this is going to be so. But the fact, something that we had created was cool enough that this guy spent a year filming himself drinking it.
Insane, bro.
Like, for me, that was like this really surreal moment of like, that we really made something that was resonating with people far beyond just this functional difference of our water.
I mean, they're tattooing it too.
Yeah, they're tattooing. Yeah. So that again, I wanted, beyond just doing something cool for this guy, for me, this is like my memory of, that period where I really realized that, like, we kind of cracked something really special.
He did, man. Yeah. Also, Will, like, drew the skull. He's probably like, wow, that's my skull and tattooed on somebody.
Yeah. And Will's become such a good friend. And he was one of the first people that I brought into the brand. And that was totally cold email. Like, I was
from the East Coast, right? Virginia or something.
He's from Virginia,
Yeah.
Richmond. Yeah. He did, he actually shot him and his, he shot a bunch of footage of Avail.
Wow.
And was trying to put together like an Avail documentary. They have all this footage of Avail from like early fucking days.
Great band, man.
Great band. And they wanted to kind of wrap it up when Avail did their reunion tour a couple of years ago. But I think like the band is kind of like, I think they're just, on the fence about whether or not they want to put out, they'd want to put out something. But
it'd be awesome. People would love that.
People would love it. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, Will, he's
from that era. Yeah.
He made the show Mr. Pickles on Adult Swim.
Okay.
And someone showed me that show, and I thought it was the funniest, most insane thing I'd ever seen. And then literally I looked up who the creator was, looked him up on Instagram, sent him a DM saying, hey,
no way,
I'm a huge fan of the show, and I have this funny idea for a water company called Liquid Death. Maybe you'd want to be involved. And sure enough, he messaged me back and he told me the story. He's like, I was in a van with a bunch of people on our way to medieval times when I got your DM.
He was?
Yeah. And he's like, he showed people in the car the message and that it was called Liquid Death. And they were like, that's a pretty good name. He's
no
like, yeah.
way, dude.
And then, now
was he on the East Coast when that happened?
No, he's lived in LA for like 15 years. Yeah. He lived in Echo Park.
Damn.
And now, to this day, now he's a full-time creative director at Liquid Death, and he works on a lot of our marketing.
He's so great. Every time I run into him, he's like so nice to talk, so sweet. Like,
yeah, he's the greatest.
Can I mention that? Yeah. So yeah, congratulations. You have a new baby coming out, baby 2. Baby's due this year. You excited?
Super excited. Yeah, it's. I'm still trying to wrap my head around having two kids. Like, one is already insane. Right?
One is insane, bro.
Yeah, could you imagine having 2?
My mom had 3, man. She was
right.
I know. I can imagine, dude. Yes, you have 2. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and the second one is going to be a boy, so we'll have a girl and a boy. That's pretty cool.
That's perfect, dude.
Yeah.
If I could definitely had a girl, I would have done that. But it wasn't guaranteed. That's perfect, man.
And we're naming him Rocky, which I know it was like.
He's not copying you, Travis.
Yeah, I'm not copying. My grandfather, my dad's father, his name was Rocky.
It's a hard name.
It's a hard name. And I'm from Philadelphia. Like, Rocky is the fucking pride of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So like when we were talking about names, it was like Rocky was just such a cool name, and it'd been in the family. My grandfather passed away a few years ago. So yeah, that's why we wanted to name him Rocky. And
it's a great name.
Yeah.
No middle name yet?
His middle name's going to be Danger.
Come on, man.
For real, Rocky Danger.
What?
I kind of threw it around as like a fun idea that I thought my wife would shoot down. She's like, Rocky Danger, that's so cute. And I guess like one of her friends has
that's a hard name, Rocky Danger?
Yeah, Rocky Danger. And one of her friends had a kid. I forget what his name. Maybe it was like but the middle name was Danger, and she thought it was so cute when she
Yeah.
heard it. So it was kind of like it just sort of aligned. So yeah, he's gonna have one of the coolest names, I think.
Yeah, Travis is Rocky 13.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's a sick name, though.
Yeah.
Did you love Rocky growing up?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's incredible, man.
Yeah. Rocky, he was a mechanic that worked for Grumman, which is like the company that makes a lot of like fighter jets and like the Apollo 13.
Rocky was.
Rocky, yeah. My grandfather,
okay,
Rocky.
okay.
Yeah. And like the Apollo 13, that little thing called the LEM that was supposed to land on the moon, but never got to the moon because they went off course. But he actually did like all the electronics like in the LEM.
Wow.
For the Apollo 13. And then recently, my dad gave me a bunch of my grandfather Rocky's old tools.
That's sick.
So that, because I want to get more into like working on classic cars and stuff like that, like in my older age. And my dad's is like teaching me how to do it because he's like a total gearhead. He's restored cars. So he gave me a bunch of my grandfather's tools, which I thought was
that's really cool. Are you a good handyman?
Not really. But I think I can be good at it because I think I'm a very visual problem solver.
Yeah.
Like, so when it comes to like engines and mechanics, like I can kind of visualize stuff really well. So I think like if I learn it, I could be pretty good at it. Like, and it's something I think I would enjoy.
Yeah. You're learning how to surf too now, right?
Yeah. I kind of fell off it a little bit. Maybe just because it's been winter.
Maybe because you're busy too. It's winter.
Busy. It's busy. It's winter. And yeah, it's like I do have between Liquid Death, I have limited time for other stuff. So between drums and skating the vert ramp, like I don't have a ton of time. And then, it's winter now, so it's a lot colder. I don't like being cold. And you know what? And look, I've surfed like 6 times now.
Yeah.
And
Me too. I think around the same. Yeah.
And each time I went out with this instructor who's this local pro kid named Andrew Jacobson. He's like late 20s, I think. Funny guy. And yeah, I go out for an hour with him, surf. And it's like, because of my skate background, like I can stand up and ride, but I don't know if it's just because all the years of skating vert ramps and snowboarding.
Oh, you're a great snowboarder too. Yeah.
Like, on giant crazy mountains and off cliffs, that like when I'm just on a longboard on a small wave going, I'm just kind of like, this is it?
You're kind of bored. Let's you do a barrel. Let's get barrel or something. Yeah.
But those giant waves, that's where it's like you can drown.
I know. It's scary,
and it's scary. And I don't think I'll ever get to that level. So it's just like, I don't know, when it comes out to going surfing, like even when I am surfing,
it's like, a lot of time too.
It's time. And it is fun. Like I like being out there. It's beautiful. Like it's a good workout.
Yeah.
And it is, pretty fun, but it's like, I don't know, when it's like, hey, I have 2 hours.
Yeah.
Going to skate the vert ramp just sounds so much more fun.
And it's in your yard.
It's in my yard, right? Yeah.
But snowboarding, you travel around for, like, have you did helicopter stuff like that too?
Yeah, for the first time I got, which was something I had, literally been on a dream bucket list since I was a teenager, which was like to actually go to Alaska.
Wow.
And go up in a helicopter, go heliboarding. And I was finally able to do that March of last year. And
that's incredible, man.
That was, I was scared at certain points. I mean, and funny enough, I was actually more scared in the helicopter than on top of the mountains.
Wow.
Because helicopters, they're really light.
Yeah.
It's like a little flying Ferrari or something.
It's crazy, dude.
And you're in these mountain ranges where there's crazy winds blowing around. The pilot has to try to land the helicopter on these crazy, like tiny ridges where just like the toes of the helicopter can land.
Wow.
And you're kind of getting out of this thing really gingerly where it could be like 2,000 feet down on either side.
That's
and
crazy.
You're standing on this little ridge that's like 2.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter like flies away. And then you're just there with a couple guides.
And how deep is the snow?
It all depends. But it's like, it's
fresh powder.
Yeah. It could be deep. But Alaska is one of the few places on Earth where, because it's the mountains come right out of the ocean.
Yeah.
That the snow is heavy enough that even powder snow sticks on really steep surfaces.
Yeah.
So even though it's really steep, you can still ride it and it's not going to like fully avalanche or slide out in a lot of cases.
Too, yeah.
Whereas like most other places, when the snow is light, anything that's too steep the risk for avalanche is way too high. Like you can't even go.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just Alaska. I mean, talk about, have you ever been to Alaska?
No, man.
It is.
That sounds incredible, man.
It's such a crazy place.
Were you scared up there though? Once you got on the mountain, you were okay?
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple things where it's like riding powder is pretty easy.
Yeah.
And if you fall, it doesn't really hurt. But when we went, there was this weird wind event that happened. So we're flying around the helicopter. The guides are looking for, okay, which mountain should we, which little face should we go land on and do? So it's all visual. Yeah. So stuff that looked like it was good powder, we land on the top and it turns out it's like icy rock hard.
Wow.
And it's super steep. So it's like, if you lose an edge or something, you could just start sliding down and you can't stop it. So that was kind of scary because it was really, some of these were like really crazy conditions that were scary. But other than that, it was just like being in Alaska, it almost like felt like, I don't know, like you're visiting the moon or something.
Yeah.
So far up there. It's like there's nothing around these giant mountains. And it wasn't crazy cold. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't crazy because you go in March in the spring. Yeah, where it's not as cold. But yeah, it was such a cool experience. And it's this tiny little town called Valdez, and there's like 2 restaurants in the town.
Wow. How long are you there for?
Almost a week.
Okay, damn.
Because what happens is you go up there and they can only fly the helicopter if it's completely blue skies.
Okay.
So you spend the money to go do this heli trip and you go up there, and 50% of the time when people go up there, they don't actually get to go.
Oh, wow.
And you don't get your money back.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Wow.
There's ways you can buy trip insurance. So but yeah, like that's the thing. You go up there for a week and you hope that throughout that week, maybe there's 2 days that they can actually fly and take you. So you're just sometimes there's a lot of sitting around of like, hey, we can't go today because it's overcast, because the helicopters, they can't fly if there's any cloud cover because you
I respect that.
Run into a fucking mountain.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. So skateboarding, snowboarding, and then surfing's last.
Yeah, I just want to be good enough at surfing that like, hey, if I want to go out with some people surfing, I could hold my own.
Yeah.
Paddle in, be able to ride. As long as I get to that level, like I'd be good.
Yeah, but it is a lot of time, and just getting the suit on, just going down. It's a lot. Time is so key. I appreciate you being here. This has been amazing. This is better than the first one. I asked you this the last time you were here, obviously, but maybe it's changed now because maybe not. But no regrets in your life.
No regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can have regrets because I'm sure there's always things that you look back on saying, I wish I would have made a different decision, but those are what make you make smarter decisions in the future. Like you learn from the things that you wish you could have done differently. Yeah. And hopefully you don't make those same mistakes again.
Yeah. And you're an optimist or pessimist.
Pessimist is where you think everything's going to go wrong. Right?
Yeah. Positive, negative. Yeah.
I think I'm probably somewhere in between because I think I always keep I'm able to keep, I think, an even keel sense to myself because I don't let the highs get too high, but I also don't let the lows get too low. It's like keep expectations always manageable and like be surprised versus like thinking, oh, this thing is going to be the biggest. And then when it's not, you're like, oh, what the fuck? So it's like,
down.
So I think I try to, and to a fault, maybe sometimes like my wife's always like, why are you so pessimistic? I'm like, that's just how, I want to keep, I want to keep expectations not too high. And then, so yeah, it's a tricky thing to balance because you're not like, well, I don't ever want to be excited about anything.
No, I know.
And, and I think it's important, like lows are important. Like you have to experience feeling like absolute shit to really appreciate the good and understand things. So,
but also PMA is like what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And that's you. You put this out there, you believed in yourself, you believed in liquid death, and you made it happen. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And I think the way I think about, it's one thing to believe you can achieve something.
Yeah.
And I think where people get hung up is people try to think too far down about, hey, I want to do this awesome thing and I know I can do it, but I'm so scared because
Yeah.
how can I ever climb that giant mountain?
Yeah.
And you start thinking about the giant mountain that you have to climb and you're too like nervous or anxious. Oh, it's going to be so much time. How it's going to be, how are we ever going to do that? I've never climbed it. But the secret is like, don't look at the mountain. Just look one step ahead. What do I have to do to make the next step?
Yeah.
Oh, I do this. Oh, how do I get onto that rock? Oh, I'm just going to go over here. And you just do these little things. And all of a sudden you're like, holy fuck, I'm halfway up the goddamn mountain.
Yeah.
So
good point.
I think that's the thing. It's like focus. Don't look too far out. Like focus on the little things because so many things go ways you'll never know which way they'll go.
Yeah.
So if you just focus on the immediate, close little things that you can do, it's a lot easier to kind of, I think, accomplish really complex things than trying to think too much about the whole thing at once.
Yeah. I love that, man. I want to end on that, but I also,
Cool.
I got to mention Death Dust. Death Dust just came out and it's electrolytes, which is awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah. And just on the Death Dust, brand new category for us.
Yeah. Keep talking. I'm going to shut this door.
Yeah. Brand new category. And, the way we did it was we kind of made a limited first batch of it in variety packs. So 3 different flavors in a pack.
Yeah.
And, I think we realized with the first batch that it wasn't quite, the flavor wasn't quite as intense as we wanted it to be.
Okay.
And, we got some feedback from people that are like, yeah, it's good. But like when you mix one packet with a big 20-ounce thing of water, the flavor is just not that intense.
Salutes.
And we're always listening to people's feedback. Like, again, quality is important. So we've already sort of updated the recipe. So the next batch coming in like 2 months, 1 packet will be plenty for a 20-ounce.
Gotcha.
So we actually are running a special right now on Amazon. It'll be coming up in the next, probably like a week from now. Like you can go get 40% off Death Dust on Amazon.
Okay.
Because we know that, hey, in this first pack, if you really want the intense flavor, just mix 2 packets into a big thing of water.
Smart.
And then, so, let's get through that. And then, the new and improved stuff will be out in a couple months.
And then the new flavors just kind of crashed Amazon too.
Yeah. They have their whole thing where we announce new flavors on Instagram,
Yep.
social, and our email. And then this huge amount of traffic goes to Amazon. And then Amazon's algorithm thinks it's some kind of crazy fraud or something. So then it turns off the product so you can't order it. Then we have to go call Amazon and be like, and then they have to go and slowly turn it back on when they know that it's legit. So we just kind of announced this morning that, hey, it's back in stock. You can actually order it. It was just an Amazon sort of, mistake. But yeah, they've been super successful now. And I looked today on Amazon and it's Liquid Death is now the #1 brand on Amazon for carbonated water.
Wow.
And the #2 brand for just plain water. And we're the #1 brand in iced tea.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's right. Your iced tea too. So now then there's other iced tea brands like, oh no, now they're making iced tea. They were doing the water. It's like Snapple. I still love Snapple growing up. But it's Arizona iced tea, all those companies, right?
Yeah.
So then you're like, that's a whole different.
And same thing, like most of those iced teas, there's so much sugar in it.
So much sugar.
Like
dude.
Arizona, I think like in a 24-ounce Arizona, there's like 70 grams of sugar or something in there. Imagine a bowl of 70 grams of sugar trying to drink.
It's crazy.
So, I think there was an opportunity for us to do something that's 6 grams of sugar, which is way less and still tastes good. Because iced tea was this thing that's either 70 grams or there's 0 and no sweetness. There was nothing in between. But Fat Mike from NoFX was telling me, he loves the tea, by the way. He's like, dude, the teas are so good. I love the tea too. He's like, in Japan, the most popular teas are all these lightly sweetened teas. And when he toured there, he was always like, how come people don't make lightly sweetened iced tea? Why is it only unsweetened or like ultra sugar? So yeah, it's been super successful. And
those companies bummed when Liquid Death made iced tea, you think?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
and historically, that's what big companies do. Like when a big
stay in your lane, just do water.
When a big company is nervous about a new company coming in, a lot of the time what they go to first is legal shit. Hey, I mean, Monster did that with Bang Energy. Like,
Bang.
Because these giant companies,
they created iced tea. Yeah.
They've got endless dollars to fight legal battles. So they might try to go find frivolous little things to try to like tie you up in legal over. That's why it's important that like you have good legal team for your own company.
Smart.
And that you really think through all the details, because if you have one little thing that went unchecked and a big company that doesn't like you can exploit that little thing, like it could be a big problem.
I'm sure this one's looking at it like we're trying to wait for them to mess up or something.
Yeah, of course. Like it's that's the world. Like,
have you met other people from those other competitive companies? Other companies. You met people past couple of years from these other companies that are like not your competitor, but like been around for a longer time. And
I recently
and they're cool to you, obviously.
Yeah, I recently got connected to both of the CEOs of Red Bull. So they have like a North American CEO, and then they have like a global CEO, and they're awesome. Like, they're willing to like have conversations, and like we've even done little co-brand like collab like stuff at retail where there'll be Liquid Death and Red Bull on a shelf together. That's somewhere.
Nice. Yeah.
Because they know their lane. They're like, they
got the shit locked.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to be the best in the world at making energy drinks. That's our thing. We're not trying to make water. We're not trying to make iced tea. So they know we're non-competitive, and we both value brand.
There's respect there.
Yeah, there's respect.
Yeah.
So I think like, but Monster on the other hand, they make everything. They're trying to come after Liquid Death with their Tor water in a can.
I saw the water, and I remember I sent it to you. I was like, bro, it was really sorry. It was a sad attempt. I saw it, like the artwork and everything. Man.
Yeah, they don't like us. They
hate you.
They hate us. But like I said, I think like it's cool meeting like, Red Bull. I mean, they're even bigger. They're almost twice the size of Monster still.
Crazy, dude.
So I think, you meet the right people that are really smart. And again, if it's non-competitive, you can learn a lot and about what they've done. And it's
I remember you challenged them to do the thing at the barracks, like skate against you, like the CEOs of those companies. Did any of them respond?
No. Of course they didn't. But I think that was
amazing.
Yeah, that was the funny notion that it's like, man, all these energy drink companies own skateboarding, so that Liquid Death, we can't really afford, as much as I'm a skateboarder.
You are, legit skater.
I can't afford to have Liquid Death go and sponsor skateboarders because Red Bull and Monster and everybody pay them too much money.
So much. So
it was just like a funny thing to kind of call out, like, oh, right, there's all these companies that own skateboarding where the CEOs don't actually skateboard. That's kind of funny,
What if they saw that?
I'm sure they saw it, but again, we're so tiny at the time, they don't care. They're like, what are these guys going to do?
You're definitely not a threat, but now the presence is so beyond known, like Liquid Death. You know what I mean? To all these other companies. And
it's finally at that point, where it's,
and then watching you move, probably some of your commercials you do, who you're working with, and how they do that and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, even I'm sure when the Travis Barker came out, with just a bunch of those, like, how did that happen? Why did we think about that? Just crazy stuff like that.
I mean,
but they're not that funny. They're not funny companies.
I mean, how many people do you run into lately? Like, I'm actually curious. Like, that if you mention Liquid Death, that they've never heard of it.
Yeah, everybody heard of it.
Yeah, probably very few that.
Yeah,
like,
not one person's told me they haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
But it's also the circles I run into, just people.
Yeah.
In our world, it's like everything, and it is to a lot of people too. But it's a big world out there. That's why I was thinking like Eminem or just somebody, maybe like a Jelly Roll. I'm just putting the names out there. A big hip hop artist doing something with Liquid Death with a whole different audience, something cool like that. Like Jelly Roll would be sick too.
Eminem would be awesome. Like,
yeah.
I mean, because he's like,
doesn't take himself so seriously.
Yeah, second on my list. He's always been funny from his very first video. It's like he is a guy that's like very similar to us, just like making fun of himself, like poking fun at the world. Like, I feel
that's a dream one.
That's a dream one. Yeah. And in fact, he's sober now.
Yeah. For a long time.
Yeah. Long time. He would be another dream sort of person to
he might
do
be
something.
He might be like one person's, degrees of separation.
Yeah.
At this point too. And at this point, like, it is out there. So you can reach out to anybody if you try to. You want to.
Yeah, for sure.
But you also want the person to want to be part of it and also know the brand and like want to do something cool.
Yeah, I want to do the same funny kind of stuff that we do.
Yeah. Well, Mike, this has been, I want to thank you for like, I remember, I don't even know how I met you. We did the live stream. That was amazing. We met at Crossroads, then I became ambassador. And then you worked my podcast, and then all the people I don't know, man. I'm just honored to be a part of this journey and be part of Liquid Death family, dude.
No, it's so cool to have all these amazing people that are around us. It's like this, from you to Travis to it's like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's all come together so organically. It's like, I don't know, you just have like the right kind of people that are good people, good hearts on the level. It's just like, it's not work.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I think when things start to feel like work, like you're really trying to force it, it's probably not meant right to be.
Yeah.
But this has all been so easy. And again, like, yeah, so awesome.
And we're friends. Like, you're my good friend and I'm happy for you, dude. It's like,
yeah, I'm awesome. Like I said, like I have now, it's like, I probably have 5 emails a day of like, hey, we have this marketing podcast. Do you want to come? I don't want to do any of that shit.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming back.
Yeah, no, I love. Yeah, like, this is actually like probably the highlight of my week. Like coming and just bullshitting with you for a little bit.
You,
like
man.
That's what I wish I could do all the time. I don't want to go on these marketing podcasts and just talk about, you know.
You never dress up or anything, right?
No,
you wearing button ups and shit. You wear flannel right now.
Yeah. You know, button up is about as far as
it's a flannel shirt.
I go. Yeah, I mean, who really needs?
Wearing a hat, just being yourself. It's so cool though.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot for a lot of younger CEOs in this planet or people. It's not all like the old corporate style we think about. You know what I mean? There's so many brands and companies that are ran by younger people. So
yeah, I mean, the whole tech world. It's like the Mark Zuckerbergs. Yeah. Like these are people that are starting billion-dollar companies in their 20s wearing hooded sweatshirts. You know?
Yeah, and still wearing them too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't really have to dress up for your job.
Right.
You can get tattoos on your hands if you want. Your neck, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Would you tattoo your hands?
I was thinking about it. Like when I got this one, this was
you gotta get Rocky Danger on it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's close to your hand.
Yeah, that's about as far.
But your neck, would you do your neck?
I think neck tattoos look really cool. Like I would love to have a neck tattoo, but it's a commitment.
It is.
It's a commitment.
I'm fucked. Yeah. But yeah, Rocky Danger is gonna be a sick tat.
Yeah, that'll be a cool tat. Yeah.
What a great name. When's the baby coming? Soon, right?
End of June. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man.
Dude, thank you, dude. Awesome.
You're on Instagram, but you don't respond to people with your personal accounts, so leave them alone. I mean, not Liquid Death either, but it's cool. And just so people can didn't hear the original episode that was 3 years ago, you can look that up. And then, put it for the name and the face to the amazing brand Liquid Death, dude. So I'm excited for the future. See what happens. Every day it's something new, or every week or every month is something new collab coming out or something like, holy shit. Can you tell me about something you're working on? I'm like,
yeah, we have some. I wish I could even tell
this
you.
year.
I wish I could tell you about something.
I have to get you in the plunge too. Get you in the plunge in the sauna.
Oh, yeah.
You're not into the cold water really stuff or no?
Yeah. I have never tried a cold plunge.
Okay. We're going to do it someday.
Yeah.
You're going to get one. So yeah, we'll get one. Yeah. That's cool one too. Yeah.
I've been a little bit more into the sauna thing lately because we got one of those little infrared ones.
Oh, you got one?
Infrared one.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
But it only gets to like 140.
Okay.
So it's like more of you sitting there for 30 minutes, like long thing.
And
not like
it could be on your phone too, probably.
Yeah. I think yeah.
Mine's 250. No phones.
Is it infrared or is it the actual coals and shit?
It's a coals.
Oh yeah.
250.
250. That's wild. How long do you go in there?
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
And then my plunge is 39 degrees.
Wow.
So you go back and forth. But it'd be good for you, dude, because you're dealing with so much fucking shit. Even though you think you're not stressed, it's so good for your body and your blood flow and your stress and all that. You know what I mean?
No, I want to try it. Yeah, we got to do a Pico spa day.
Yeah, I'll get you in the crew. So you have a sauna, so you just get a plunge. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can make that happen.
Well, yeah, you introduced me to the plunge guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I talked to. Yeah, I think I might try to get one through him.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
It'd be cool to fill up a plunge with Liquid Death. I thought about doing that once. It's just a waste of water, but it'd be kind of cool for like something.
Well, yeah, then it's like legit, like you're like in a mountain fucking stream, you know?
I know. From Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you for being here. Thanks to the listeners. Make sure I covered everything. I might come skate your ramp soon. I'm just a little nervous, but I'll be back soon to land that hand plan. I was doing hand plants on the coping, and I was just scared I wasn't landing them. But like same with your backside airs, like was so close to landing those, just like committing to put it down. It's so hard. That's why I like having like Dane or Lizzie or Jason Ellis. They're watching. You got this. But like, it's hard when you get older and you're a dad. I don't know, man. Yeah. No excuses. Anyway,
awesome.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks,
Peace.
Toby. Hey.
Good morning.
Morning.
You made it to the podcast phone call. One thing I want to correct myself on the podcast is that I didn't say greatest hates. I said greatest hits. It's called greatest hates for the listeners. So it's all the hateful, negative comments turned into positive songs. So I want to correct myself on that. Also, I realized after the podcast and doing a 3-day water cleanse last week that singing H2O for 30 years and being an ambassador for Liquid Death, I don't drink enough water, which is sounds so stupid. I have to step up my water intake. How is you have pretty good water intake throughout the day, Mike?
It could be better. Yeah, it could be better.
Because you're surrounded
But
by water probably wherever you're at, you know.
yeah, my wife Carly, I mean, she drinks a ton. I mean, there's just like empty liquid death cans like all over the house.
And it's so good.
uh,
Yeah, we need water. So I know.
yeah, yeah.
I think it helps with
But
everything. Um, but also, I just saw this. I just saw the Liquid Death Instagram just now too, where someone said they couldn't have like energy drinks in their office. They put up a sign with all Liquid Death saying this is iced tea and this is water, and they hung in their office.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's so good. Um, and then something I want to say too, like for me personally, throughout my life, is that I've always been a giver. There's been takers throughout my life. There's been social climbers, people coming through, meeting my friends, running through my friendships, meeting people, blah blah. Every sponsor, every free pair of pants or socks or sneakers, anything I've ever gotten, I've always given it to my friends. I've always been that kind of person. And then to finally become working with Liquid Death and being an ambassador and bringing my connections and my friends into the table and connecting all these people, it's the first time I've ever been acknowledged for and appreciated and thanked. And I want to thank you for that, because it feels not like I ever did that my whole life because I wanted anything returned from anyone. This is the kind of person I am. But for you to see that, acknowledge that, and I guess know my worth as a person, whatever, I just want to thank you for that, because no one's ever done that and acknowledged that for me in my life. So I just want to thank you for that.
No, I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I think you know, it, these things wouldn't really work unless there was true, you know, true passion that you actually have for the brand. Like you're not just doing this because you're like, oh, someone's paying me money to go
Yeah,
push this thing. It's not that. It's like you truly love the brand. You
love
know,
it.
it's something you would do probably whether or not you were officially a part of it or
Yep.
not. And it's like, yes, of course, to like officially bring you in and allow you to kind of share in, in some of the growth of the brand that you're helping contribute to. It's like, yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you sent me like a cool text yesterday too about like success has so much to do with like how you treat people, period. You know, relationships, trust, all that stuff. And it's super important, you know, just being a good human, and also you being uh not a corporate person, into this world, created this thing, DIY, passion, love, you wanted to do it, you made it happen, and still being the same person. You know what I mean? Still being the same person.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is if you're trying to build something from nothing, it's really, really hard. And there's so few people that actually end up doing it. It's like the number of new companies that actually get to success. It's like, 0.01% because it's really hard. So your only chance is you need a lot of other people to be willing to go out of their way for you, especially in the early days, to help grow this really complicated thing. And, you know, the way you treat people in your life and through other things you've done before and the relationships you've built, that determines how many people are out there that actually want to go out of their way for you and help you when you need it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a big part of I'm sure your success doing what you do, and the same thing with Liquid Death. I think I never burned many bridges throughout my life, and when it was time, the rare circumstance I'm asking somebody for a favor, they're
Yeah.
happy to help.
Yeah, I know. I hate asking people for stuff too, and then when you have to do it, it's just like people like persons like, sure, of course, you've done this for me throughout your life, blah blah blah. But
Right,
yeah, just
right.
asking for stuff from people, but also just like, yeah, being a good person. It's not hard to be a good person. I don't know. Maybe it is for some people. I don't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, or being mean or being rude or being like a shady person. But like, yeah. I just want to definitely pop on there and say that and correct the greatest hates, and thank you. And it was such a great combo. And for the listeners, first time maybe hearing you or listen, obviously go back to the first episode we did. But yeah, just your journey. I'm so excited to see the future of Liquid Death and what happens next, and skate with you again. And love your product. Honored to rep your product. It makes total sense. I'm in a water band. Definitely gonna step up my liquid intake, my aqua intake, because I'm realizing now like how important water is for the body and how much percentage of the body is made up of water anyway. But obviously, just doing that water cleanse and realizing just like just flushing things out and just keeping your body moving is just so important. So yeah,
totally. And I think maybe it was Tony Robbins, that motivational speaker guy. I feel like he said something where he's like, if you're ever feeling like shitty or you know angry or whatever, he's like, first thing think about have you drank enough water today?
Damn.
Like, I think there is something. It's like,
That's crazy.
when you're just dehydrated, like maybe your brain it doesn't work quite as well when it's not hydrated enough. Like it affects so many different things, and you don't even think about it.
It's really true. You don't think about how important it is too. Like,
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, bring it back to the whole liquid death thing, is that like now that people really didn't want to drink water, and that drinking water wasn't even really a thing. Even like maybe in the 90s, it was like everybody's drinking like sodas or iced teas, or nobody's really drinking water in the bottle, and like it became super popular. I don't know what year it happened, but nobody was thinking about water intake. But all of a sudden now with liquid death, like, yeah, just the whole package is everything, and the product itself, it's making people want to drink water in bars and drink water in public. And to be shocking, even though they're drinking water, doing something healthy, they might be trying to be shocking, drinking on the beach or just walking on the streets and seeing somebody yell at them for carrying open contained beer. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
right.
So it makes the whole thing fun, and you're also like actually getting hydrated. So, and then you can add the death dust in there too. So that's just like extra bonus. But I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you for the time. And yeah, man, this has been great. And I don't know. I know you're a busy man. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Toby. Come skate.
All right, brother. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Peace.
You too. Bye.
Bye. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years to have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations, US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology, cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.